Steady as you go.
Welcome to the Ska History Hour with your hosts, Jose Rojas
Hello.
and myself, Daryl Rubio, wherein the purpose of this channel is to spread awareness of ska music and its subgenres to the world. Our guest today is Eddie Casillas from Voodoo Glow Skulls from Riverside, California.
How's it going, everybody?
Hey.
Eddie, thank you. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with us and share your stories with the ska community and your music. Can you please tell us a little about yourself and your role in the band, please?
Well, like you said, my name is Eddie Casillas, or Edgardo. That's my full name, Edgardo Casillas. But I go by Eddie. I started Voodoo Glow Skulls in my bedroom, pretty much, with a couple of song ideas in 1988, and with my little brother George on bass and Jerry O'Neill, our original drummer. And that's who I am. I started Voodoo Glow Skulls with my two friends, and about 6 months to a year after we started to play, to play as that band, my older brother Frank came home from work one day and just kind of tried singing. We just kind of had the idea, hey, why don't you try singing for us? And we just started that way. And that's pretty much who I am.
Cool, man. And where does the band name come from? Voodoo Glow Skulls, and also the motto.
Yeah,
Voodoo.
yeah. I can explain that. Well, the name comes from a little porcelain little skull necklace that used to be that used to be able to buy at the Disneyland gift shop. When you walked out of the Haunted Mansion or the Pirates of the Caribbean, I think, like an Adventureland right there. You used to be able to buy this little skull necklace that was like a little white, little glow in the dark skull with a little like black, like plastic choker, and it was called a Voodoo Glow Skull. And a friend of ours came home from one of his first dates with the woman he ended up being married to for years. Came home. We were all young, like at the end of high school, or like at the beginning, like that age, around like 18, 19. And our friend came home from this date and said, "Hey, why don't you call your band Voodoo Glow Skulls?" And he just showed us the thing, and it was like a little Hot Wheels kind of package, but it was a little skull, and it said, Voodoo Glow Skull, creepy, spooky, scary. And we just thought, wow, it's kind of cool. You can't really tell what kind of music it is by hearing the name. So that kind of represented what we were doing at the time, because we didn't know what style we were going to end up being. I guess we were playing like a weird mixture of like punk rock and funk and metal. It was like we were kind of all over the place because we just like so much stuff. That it made sense. Like, it's like you can't tell what that is. Is it a ska band? Is it a metal? What is that? Is it psychedelic? So that's pretty much it. And then the hoodoo voodoo thing just came from backyard party friends. Like, you're in high school and you're or that age, and your friends are maybe proud of your band, or they're drunk at a kegger, and somebody just yelled it one day. Like it was like a thing just like that. We were not even like a fully functional band per se. Yeah, we weren't even really playing clubs yet. We were like a backyard party band at that time. And I remember clearly like a backstage party friend like going, "Voodoo voodoo we do," in it. Somebody said "fuck you," and it kind of like clicked. It kind of clicked, and it was kind of a thing that wasn't a thing at first, and then it kind of became a thing more and more at little shows. And then I think we just used it one day. I just thought about, hey, let's just do that in the song. It's kind of what kind of band we are. It's like, we just jump on ideas that make sense at the time, whether they're good down the line or not. It's not good for the kids and strollers when you're playing some park in the middle of the city or something. But we ended up being kind of that band. It's like these choices you make when you're young, and you're like, oh, that sounds cool to say fuck you to everybody, and you can tell us to fuck off, and we, you think it's a good idea, and then you're like, well, we're not making like art like the Beatles or anything, man. We're just like having fun being like a ska punk band, like having fun, like like at a party or something, and it turns into a thing that you're doing now. Way down the line, you have like this long band thing, like band career, and it ends up being a thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
I remember I saw your brother George at the Selector show at the Glass House, last year.
Yeah, I was there too.
Yeah, and so he was walking with, I guess, his wife or girlfriend at the
Yeah,
time. And I walked up to it. I said, I was walking towards him. I
yeah,
said, "Voodoo, voodoo, we do,"
yeah.
expecting him to say "fuck you," and he says, "Hey, what's up, man?" I
Yeah,
was,
that happens to us all the time. I guess, you know, when we're in the scene, when we're at a big show or a show where people might recognize us, it's a thing. It's just so like not to be honest with you, you would think, well, you know the music. It's a little bit of it's aggressive for ska, you know, and
yeah,
it's
Mhm.
aggressive for ska. It's a punk rock band pretty much with a horn section
uh-huh,
doing elements of ska. Really, we've never really considered. We know better. We never consider ourselves a ska band.
right,
You just kind of have to roll. I'm not going to say punches, but roll with the punches of what you're given by the public, you know.
Mhm.
yeah,
And it's definitely ska for sure, you know, big time ska influenced. But you know, it's just kind of aggressive shit here and there, and you forget. Like I'm not really like we're kind of mild mannered. We're not really like the fuck you type of dudes. So it's like when people say that in public, I'm not saying it's embarrassing, but it's a little embarrassing. Like oh shit, like I don't feel like I gotta say fuck you back to some stranger that's being nice to me, you
yeah,
know. So that's where that I could guarantee you because we're brothers and we think a lot alike. That's probably what he's thinking is
yeah.
like hey man, I'm not in character right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was cool. It was really nice and respectful. He did that, but I was waiting for the "fuck you."
Yeah,
I was like,
but
"Bring it on!"
that's all that means. And actually, I did the fuck you the other day somewhere. I was
Yeah.
obviously in public at a show or some downtown thing or something, and I said the fuck you back kind of mild mannered because it's so weird for me to be like, what do they want from me? Like, I'm sure they want us to say it once in a while, but it's like it's just like part of the live show, and we're like I said, we're like as an individual, we're like a lot more mellow than that, and I
Yeah,
guess a lot nicer than that. I'd like to think. So it's just like it's just an aggressive song for fun, but like for the audience to have fun. You know, here's a chance to tell us to fuck off, or a chance to tell people that don't like the band to fuck off. It's both. You know.
yeah. So
Awesome.
your band started in I believe 1988. Is that right? 88, 89, around
Yeah,
there?
we started in I think I want to say February of '88 is when we actually like played the first backyard party, or you know we started around '87, '88 with the music for sure, and then the first two songs that I wrote were Thrift Shop Junkie and then Closet Monster.
Mhm.
Uh, which
Great
most
songs.
actually our first four songs on our demo, or first three, I'm sorry, ended up on the Feedman album, which kind of funny because it ended up on our first album. They were on our first like major kind of album, which is
Mhm.
weird to think about. But we brought those songs back because they were like on the demo, and they were kind of the songs that made us sort of be like the we were able to get signed because of like early shows and backyard party things and first shows like at Spanky's Cafe in Riverside. We had some memorable shows enough to get us signed, I guess, you know,
Mhm.
and a first couple tours. So we brought the first two, three songs that I ever wrote or brought to the band, put them on our I guess our main album, our biggest selling album, because it was a second album. We're like, why waste these songs? You know, they need to be heard, I guess. So
Mhm.
yeah, but that was in 1988.
Nice.
Nice. So, did you create all the songs like from the guitar part, or like who wrote the horn lines and bass
Well,
lines? Your brother, I guess.
well, the actual accurate way, the way we started was where we could, first of all, like any kids, like 15, 16, we could barely play. I was taking guitar lessons. I had the luxury of my parents paying for guitar lessons when I was like 15, 14, or that age. Thankfully they were cool like that. So
Mhm.
I kind of had a little a head up because I was taking guitar lessons. My brother was 13, 14, a little bit younger, and was definitely picking it up, but like we didn't play that well yet. Yeah, I mean, we were
Yeah.
trying to learn our favorite heavy metal songs at the back then, you know, and all that shit. And like first got into punk rock around then. So we basically the first initial Voodoo Glow Skulls writing and the songs that would be maybe at least the first two, three albums, we are mostly guitar based. And so my brother George started to write as he got better 4 or 5 albums in, which I'm not saying he didn't contribute and write his own bass parts. That's all him. All those
Mm.
bass parts are all him.
Awesome bass parts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no, I would never. But as far as writing the songs, usually I brought us a whole song or like riffs to the table, and then we would collaborate with my brother, with my two brothers and the drums, and then the horns would come in last. Once in a while back then we did a song derivative from like a horn part here and there, or like a horn idea, but the horn players never put songs together. That was more like always the spicing on top, like the icing on the cake. Yeah, so it was mostly like a guitar driven punk band, like guitar and bass and drum punk rock ska band at first. I mean, not so much ska at first, and then we started to tap into more ska punk stuff almost right off the bat, but not for a couple songs in, and we're like, we wanted to do that style, so we were in the Fishbone and the Specials, and Operation Ivy was like just out and like about to break up then. So there was ska punk bands around that we were influenced by, but it was mostly like Fishbone and like Red Hot Chili Peppers and bands like that. The Specials, all the two-tone era ska stuff was a big deal because my our older brother, he's 4 years older than me, so he brought home all the two-tone records when they were out, like right when they were hitting. So we absorbed all that stuff, and so yeah, we were like a four-piece band, kind of playing punk rock and dabbling in ska, and then funk. We tried to be a funk band like the Chili Peppers a little bit, but then figured, hey, we're not really that those kind of players. We figured out quick what we what we gravitated towards was like punk rock and hardcore with like slam pits and shit, and like ska, upbeat ska. Like we wanted to be like Fishbone and like punk rock, So we wanted to be kind of more like a wild band. So we just were like, let's just double down and play everything fast and as hard as we want to play it, and then touch into like traditional ska too. Which we started to do. It's pretty obvious in some of the songs that are like kind of instrumentals, and where we just try to just dive in and do our version of trad ska in its own weird hard way. You know what I mean? Which is kind of funny to say, trad ska in a hard way, but that's kind of that's exactly what we try to invent, at least in our brains. But
like the song Malas Palabras.
Exactly, all that stuff.
I love that song.
Los Hombres No Lloran.
Hombres No Lloran,
Casablanca. Those are all basically like trying to be between the Ska Lights and Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra and Rage Against the Machine or something, like mixing it up, But, so we've always been mostly a guitar based band, like either guitar or now like these last few years, my brother George he contributed so much because he just got better as a songwriter, and he started to actually write songs. He started to contribute whole songs, and some of the best songs on like the last album or two, in my opinion, were his. You know what I mean? And that's just a whole asset, a whole other brother to contribute. So people kind of get more, I think, more now out of Voodoo Glow Skulls, because now you have the older brother. I mean, you have the youngest brother who, I'm not going to say just matured or whatever, but like kind of the last 10 years, let's say, or more matured as a songwriter, where he just throws down whole songs. And it's like, great. He has a good song or two or three. It's perfect. Like, go ahead. Like, I've been tapped out like as a person once in a while. You just get tapped out of the same style, and like anybody else doing the same thing for a long time, you have moments where you don't have ideas, and then you have great ideas. And so he came in and was like the driving force behind the last at least 10, 15 years of writing songs more. So it's been awesome. But yeah, we've always been a guitar based punk rock band is really what we've always been. Like, start from the riff, whether it be bass or guitar. And then horns have always been an important thing, of course, but we had the moment of those guys that weren't really the original horn players, but the moment that people know, like the so-called OG dudes from like 94 to 98, those guys were around for about 7-8 years, 6 years. Now it seems like such a short period of time in a 37-year career. I mean, take away those 7 years, 7-8 years, and it's like it's a whole other 30 years of a band, So, but I'm grateful that moment was when we were that certain age, 22 to 26 years old, when we were, striking while the iron was hot. We were young. We were in the same room, like the whole time trying to write songs, and it was coming out the way it came out, so you have to be grateful for those times, So, but yeah, the horns at that time were for sure like an important thing. You know, they were just like the spice that like the icing on the cake. And then once you start to change band members, you just have to, you know, look for more spices to put on that cake, man. You know, you got to
Yeah.
look for the next guy who could do this for 5 to 10 years, and you know, join your band and play the songs that you wrote originally. You know, it's a crazy thing, but yeah, it's always been like a guitar based band to answer your question, I guess. You know,
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, because I remember, because I used to see you guys a lot in the early 90s out in the Riverside, and, you know, it's like you said, Spanky's, and then over at Ezot's place. Um, and I always remembered this big sound always coming out of this little guy, Joey,
yeah,
you know, with the sax. And the way that you guys, you know, played the horn section played so damn fast, it was right up there with with Blue Meanies. Same
yeah,
type of thing, you
yeah.
know?
We That's one of the bands that we played with early on after the first couple tours. We hooked up with the Blue Meanies, and they're one of those bands that the first handful of times we went to the Midwest, like played like in Chicago area, or like we played with them, I think in Wisconsin. Um, we played little hall shows with them, like rec hall, like you know, like VFW halls and shit. Like really, really early memorable shows that were really like OG ska punk scene shows. It was like us and the Blue Meanies and like MU330 and us and Skankin' Pickle. Those were that. I was that era, like 92 to 94 was like
Mhm.
golden because everybody was having their first albums or first 7 inches out or whatever. I think we had Who Is This Is out, and we weren't signed yet, and we played a kind of a legendary hall show with with the Blue Meanies, and it was sick. It was like their lineup right before the what's it called, Kiss Your Ass Goodbye came out or something, like right before that album.
The Pave the World.
Yeah, we were hooking up with each other, playing random hall shows, and we knew there was a scene. There's already like sold out or full hall shows already, like, you know, 400 or 500 kids showing up at least at these shows, and we were playing the
Wow.
Metro in Chicago already, and yeah, it was still kind of a new thing, you know. I'm glad it exists now. It's badass, but like, imagine the world where like no Supernova Ska Festival or no like no East LA ska core shows at all. Like
Yeah.
just imagine the world, you know, back then when it was just like the Blue Meanies, Boss Tones, Voodoo, Fishbones, Cake and Pickle. I mean, they were there, but it wasn't like what it is now. It was like, and the ones playing gnarly or ska punk or hardcore, whatever the fuck you call it, ska core, anything, whatever you decide to call that shit. There was only a few of us doing the like pushing the, you know, like pushing the boundaries or like going, oh, we could do this crazier, or, you know, what if I don't want to sound like a traditional band? And I love that stuff, but fuck, man, I grew up on heavy metal and rock and roll and oldies, and so that's where we came from. We came from a pretty, and then on top of that, we had a chip on our shoulder. Not, you know, we're older now, so that's long gone, but you have to understand when you were like just doing this music at first in the old days, we would get like we have memories still, and that's, it's still kind of like, doesn't haunt you, but it's like PTSD. We would get tagged, like we had infamous things happen to us because we were either Latinos doing ska punk, which is like, what the fuck is this? You're playing a ska show with traditional bands in some weird state, and you walk off and think you had a great show in 1993, and then your van is written out, is tagged with a like a lipstick that says, you know, stay out of the ska scene, and we had like letters.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we have like, so there's a reason why things happen, like the Fuck You Rudy's fucking sample on the Feed Me album.
Mhm.
There's a reason why that's there. That's none of us in the band that did that, but it's an old friend of ours playing a prank, driving by a trad ska show in Berkeley, California. And some friend, that's kind of like an example of the kind of shit that would go down a little bit. Like, that's just a sample that our friends had from like a VHS tape when they ran through eggs at a ska show for fun, right? And then, you know, fuck you, you know, like, and the other fuck you, root boys thing. We just stole that as a sample because it was on a VHS thing. But it was just friends of ours pulling a prank at the Berkeley Square. But that, us putting that sample on there was obviously like a calculated thing, but it was our way of going like, hey, fuck you, like we got our own shit. Like, this is Feed, man. This is our scene. Like,
Mhm.
like, and like, kind of like, how dare you, like, like we were drawing more than trad bands. We were kind of on the come up. So that sample was a little bit of a fuck you, like, or a big fuck you in a way, because we were having incidents, not a lot, but there was people that were like, you put your chocolate in my peanut butter. Like they didn't like, you know, what is this, like horns and fast punk and like big bald Mexican guy, that looks a little bit threatening, nicest dude in the world, but they don't know that. Big bald guy, a little bit brown, fucking barking ska punk. It's not what the average Midwestern maybe person is going to be used to, or the Arizona person or whatever, especially not in 93. If you're like used to just ska the way ska, so we had some shit, man. So that's why there's things about the band, little things they're obviously there, like where there's like a little chip on a shoulder that ended up kind of molding what Voodoo Glow Skulls kind of ended up being. A lot of the attitude in the music mixed with the ska parts are really like kind of like a fuck you to a lot of that stuff that was going on, especially those early albums. Now that's water under the bridge. It's like, people are seeing people now. People get all, talk shit about Punk in the Park and get all political. And it's like, well, it was just, it's serious. Yeah. But it's like, Voodoo Glow Skulls is not Rage Against the Machine either. Like we're just people, like, make mistakes, and not everybody thinks the same way in the band. And I mean, we're a Mexican American ska punk band, and we mostly have those values in line to what you think a Mexican band would be. But not everyone's the fucking same, man. People make mistakes and say shit, and there's comments online now, and the world's changed so much. You know what I mean? So felt like we were the early cancel culture kind of band, because before any of this shit, we had people kind of trying to cancel us for being a ska band and fucking with ska, or playing like even funk, like punk funk, because we were kind of shitty at it at first. So we had like fan letters written to us early, like 91, going like, stop trying to play funk music like white boys and shit, like that kind of shit. I mean, so we kind of had some chips on our shoulders that kind of developed the way the band sounds now. And there's a rhyme to the reason, man. There's a reason why it's a little aggressive, and why even the Hoodoo Voodoo, going back to that, why that I think became a thing, is we had like kind of aggressive, young, kind of like high school, like college age friends that were like, "Fuck you," we're gonna chant this shit at your show. Right? Yeah, that's all that was.
Because like the closest thing to you guys, back in the early '90s, was like Buck-09, really, that played it, but they didn't play ska as fast as you guys. I mean, it was fucking insane. Like Insubordination, Dogpile. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, and that I mean, back to the original, or the guys that are known as the original dudes that were in that band for that period. That's a credit to those guys too. You know what I mean? They were, for those years, those guys were on point, and they were, especially the trumpet and the sax player, like both Joes, when they were into it before they, because I mean, those guys kind of came in as horn players of 5 years after the band was around, 4 years. And they weren't even the first guys. We had a different trumpet player and a different trombone player before that, like for a minute. Joey was the first sax player. I mean, to his credit. But they weren't the first dudes. They were just the dudes that ended up being on those crucial albums, that those 7 years of our career that were super important. Like in the 90s, from 93 to about 2000 is what kind of made the band who it was. Those 7 years, right? I mean, a credit to as a credit to those guys, they were almost all around for those 7 years. I mean, the trombone player, didn't really write, wasn't much of a writer, sort of like a backup player. He wasn't much of an accomplished trombone player, but he just had the attitude at the time that we're, and at back then, horn players were kind of slim pickings. I mean, there was nobody, so you had to take who you can get, who kind of worked, but I'm grateful that we had the two Joes at the time, because they were really like the contributing kind of dudes that helped those songs become what they were. You know what I mean? And but yeah, those are great times.
Now, back in 1990s, my friend and I, Trish Reddy and her twin brother, we went to a show in Corona. I believe it was Angels. Okay. And it has an adjacent strip club and stuff. But we were waiting patiently, waiting for Voodoo to come on. and all of a sudden the fire marshal came and closed it down and told everybody to get out. I
Oh,
guess
that's
it
probably
was
in the 2000s, mid 2000s.
mid 2000. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it was mid 2000. Okay, was it? What happened? Like they totally canceled the show.
That was just the fire marshal, and like you have moments in your career, man, as you do this for so long, and like we've never really been trendy. Like we've had dips, you know, we've had mostly good moments, and have been lucky the whole time, even with a different sing, you know, like even with a different vocalist, which I never would have dreamed that would have happened.
Mm.
We've been lucky. I consider us, for a DIY band, up until right now, we've mostly been able to do this like as a somewhat professional band, like tour and go all over the world, and it's taken us like almost every place you could imagine.
Mm.
I mean, multiple times. You know what I mean? But we've we've had moments where we like started playing bars. We started thinking, well, ska isn't as popular, or we're not as popular this decade or this 5 years. So let's just start playing Alex's bar and start playing at Angels. And you probably noticed that if you were a fan of the band, where we
Yeah,
kind of started playing like 21 and over shows a lot. And there wasn't, because we never really got, and not to, this isn't a complaint necessarily, but we never really got like Warped Tour love. Like when the Warped Tour was like thriving, like 2000 to like, you know, till the end, we only did it once. For like, we did like once a couple of the local shows for the ska parade stage, but we never really like got on the Warped Tour like a lot of the bands did. Like here's the whole Warped Tour for 6 weeks, and that like will make or break you. Like you'll make it. Like if you're good, like, which I consider us to have a live show the whole time, and I thought we've always been pretty consistent. We've always worked really hard on, no matter who's in the band, keeping it as consistent as you can to live up to what the name is, right? So we just never got some love from that, and maybe we weren't commercial enough. Maybe, you know, I mean, the Voodoo Glow Skulls aren't so emo. You know what I mean? We're not.
yeah,
We have hooks, I think, but we don't really have those songs like that. It's a different style. You know what I mean? And
mm-hmm.
it'd be a weird world if we appeal to everybody, because
Right,
I
right,
think we're our own like unique brand, right? Our own
yeah,
thing. No matter what, if you love the band or hate the band, it's its own shit. And so that being said, we just started to play where we could, pretty much, and try different things. And in that era, we were playing a lot of strictly like sports bars, and where we could put in 300 people though still, and still do well, and still some income there, of course, because that's part of it. No matter who you are, they're lying to you if money doesn't become a factor when you're like drawing fans and you have to tour. It's like you need a budget, you need to pay for stuff, right? So like just that was one of those moments where we played and the fire marshal came, and it was a promoter we weren't used to. You know, some DIY dude that doesn't do shows a lot, I'm sure. And I'm sure
yeah.
the door people probably just took the money and ran or something. There was always like fiascos like that where we got some of the money or something, and they would run off with the rest of it. That happened to us around
Oh
that
man,
time. Not a lot. We've always been lucky.
yeah. I thought
Because
they
I
were
guess
hating
like
on you. That like the farm marshal was hating on you or something that night or
yeah, well,
something.
it was full, and to be fair, that's what they'll do when you put too many people in the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
room. And we didn't have anything to do with it, because what are you gonna do, man? The city, that's a city official. Fire marshal comes and goes, no go, show's over. You get to get out, you know, kick people out. You're kind of screwed. You know what I mean? But so I'm glad we got back to where we're not doing that so much anymore, or at all. We're kind of not doing that at all anymore. Like
Mhm.
we'll do it if we have to. Like if we're in the middle of the week on tour somewhere, that's the kind of places where you do like a Monday, Tuesday, do a bar, you know, in some weird state somewhere. But you won't see us really doing that so much right now. We're just trying to keep it a little bit cooler for everyone to be able to see the band as much as possible, and
Yeah.
just not have any sketchy situations like that. But
Just
that's an
recently, we
example.
can say.
Oh, that's rad. You got one of those?
Yeah.
I don't have one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Just recently at Marietta.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what happens. Shit happens. Punk rock shows get shut down, and something happens once in a while that you can't control. We've had some moments, you know, but that wasn't our proudest moment. You know, like, but that wasn't our proudest one when 300 people, 400 people can't see you play because there's too many people in the building. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a worse problem to have if you could play the show, but It goes to show when you don't play shows that are pro, or shit like that doesn't happen when it's professional.
Yeah. Right.
On both ends, not to take away from little promoters. Don't get me wrong, we do it all the time, but that's the risk you take.
Mm-hmm.
Now you guys have a slew. You have a huge discography. 2/3 of them are here. Most of them in CD form.
Yeah.
You guys have like early ones from '93, the potty training years, up through the last one, "Living the Apocalypse" in 2021, which has a hilarious song, the Karen song.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad we got to see live at Supernova a couple years back. That was pretty fucking awesome. But you guys are also have songs in movies like Pauly Shore movie, Biodome.
Yeah, that's the one we hear about still to this day, because it became kind of a cult classic, like a '90s thing. So yeah, we hear about it all the time still.
Yeah, and I think with a Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie movie too.
Yeah,
soundtrack.
Mr. Mrs. Smith. Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, that's all record label stuff. You write songs, and then a label owns part of the rights or half the rights, and you just don't even get told about it. Sometimes you do, and we haven't been the one that's been using that many movies or TV shows, but it does happen to our band once in a while. It's been like a couple big video games, a couple kind of like a couple known movies, 3 or 4 movies, but you usually don't find out. Somebody will just go, "Hey, I heard your song in a thing or whatever," which is kind of wild to hear it that way. But yeah, the last thing was when they mentioned us in the dialogue in that new Nicolas Cage vampire movie, Renfield. Came out.
That's right.
Came out last year. They did warn us about that one, but it was actually wild because sometimes a production company from a big movie will find out who the band is, and then they'll send you a thing going, "Hey, we want to buy merchandise or get some merch for the movie, like for the background," right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. They actually bought merchandise off of us for the movie, like patches and pins and posters to put in the background of the movie or like on one of the characters. And they ended up writing us into the movie, like where they speak our name, which is wild because that lives forever, and that's just cool little pop culture shit. That movie will outlive me one day, and someone will mention Voodoo Glow Skulls, and that guy goes, "I fucking hate that shit," like right after, which is like, it's so appropriate for our band and with the little career things we've been through. What that guy says, "I hate that shit" right after our band name. It's like so appropriate.
Yeah, that's funny. Now, talking about video games, I believe it was still the early 2000s. On your website, you have like one could like actually play a video game with, I believe, Mala Palabras in the background.
Yep.
Yeah, whose idea was that, and who was behind that video game?
That was I don't remember. Man, I wish I could tell you the developer, because dude, it's that you just reminded me of that. Really, it's been so long.
I used to play it a lot.
That was in the days of like guest books on before comments. The first ever comments were like guest books on a website, right? But that was all like, I'm sure, Epitaph Records or it was probably man, I'm drawing a blank on his name and I feel real bad. It's on the tip of my tongue. But we have a friend that's based out of Chicago that was our first real web designer when we first had the official websites, like late 90s, early 2000s or whatever that was. And it was our homeboy from Chicago that did that design for sure. And probably had another homie who was like a OG, game designer or aspiring one.
Right.
And did that stuff. But yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that's cool that you're one of the people that cared enough to do that, man.
Yeah.
I would not know until you told me that right now who would fucking even played it. I'm sure I remember playing it now, but dude, my brain is so filled with meeting people and shows and marijuana that you forget as you get older. I'm in my early 50s, let's say, and it's like you just forget now, and it sucks because it's like I get schooled now about things like that. Like, you remember that video game on your website? And I do, but like, I don't remember like how it went, dude, or anything. Like it's
You know,
wild.
I was also high back in the day, and I kind of remember the gameplay, but yeah, it was like a top down view or something, and your character was moving around. You had
Yep.
to do shit, and it was
Yeah, yeah.
badass with
That
the
was like
malapaladas.
yeah, we were into it. We had friends that were, trying to, what the guy's name was. Mark O'Mara was one of the guys, one of the designers. But we had a yeah, we were always on top of it because Epitaph Records too at the time when we signed to Epitaph Records, they had a competent team of people that just knew about marketing, and we were always paying attention to the early web stuff a little bit. Like we weren't really that savvy with it,
Uh,
but we knew, and I was aware of the early marketing things, and you have to pay attention to stuff, if you care about. And we were like, we've just always been into our band. We've always been into this shit for better or for worse. A bad year or two or a bad decade, so to speak, which I don't even think we really had a bad one. But we had to live through like when certain fads come in and out, and, blah blah blah, and we just still kept going. You know what I mean? And we were always aware of whatever's going on with the newest stuff, or at least a little bit. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think right now in day you get to come out with the game easier now. I think you should bring it back.
Oh yeah, well that's
You know,
a good idea. Yeah, I mean we have we're like perpetually writing new ideas or songs all the time. So there's
uh,
like we have like an arsenal of new music ideas, but it's like putting out music is so weird these days that we got for sure an album's worth or two albums worth of songs now, or at least skeletons of songs that we could just reach in and go, new song, let's finish it, type of thing.
mm-hmm.
So I think when that happens again, with a new marketing push for a new single or a new album, maybe we'll do something cool like that again because we really
Oh,
need to, we're just right now, since my brother's been back in the band only for a year, we're really just like digging into our catalog a lot. We're just let's pull out an old song we've never played live, or let's play a song we haven't played in 20 years. That's what we're doing now. We're always
mm.
playing the meat and potatoes of our set, but we're trying to play all these random songs as we go to just make it cool for people that have all those albums or care,
Yeah,
and then, but
yeah.
eventually we'll do like a new revamp of a website and all that is my whole
Oh,
plan.
that'd be awesome, man. I would love to play another video game of Voodoo Glow Skulls. But yeah,
Yeah.
like the last show that I went to, like the Marietta,
Yep.
you played like 20 songs in that set. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Old
Yeah,
school stuff.
yeah, we have a lot of records, man, and we're trying to give people what they, a good show. Like we'll
It
play.
was great.
I mean, an hour plus of Voodoo Glow Skulls is like a assault on your senses, if you ask me. I mean, it's not like whatever, name some crazy like Slipknot or something like that. But in our own way, if you don't know what to expect, it's like we try not to stop really. We're not really into like that long of breaks. We've always been more like take cues from the Ramones. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's not talk too much. Let's play song after song back to back if we can. Take a breath. Really, the only reason why we stop is the horn players because we probably wouldn't fucking stop, But so playing 20 songs is about right. We're trying to give people as much as we can, and we started to realize more and more. Well, 2 hours of Voodoo or an hour and a half, which we could do, could be done, but it's not the music for that. We never thought we were the music for that. We always thought we're more like, I'm not necessarily saying we like a half hour Warp Tour type set, like the Punk in the Park things that we've done or Warp Tour things we've done. Or like most festivals, you get a half hour unless you're like the headliner. You get a half hour to 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I love that, but I do love it because we could fit a lot in that time. We could fit a good 12, 13, and we feel like we got it in. You know what I mean? But an hour of Voodoo Glow Skulls, it feels like we're fucking Bruce Springsteen. It feels like, oh, we covered 5 albums, and that we're good with that.
Right.
Dude, it was an awesome set. I love it.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. We're trying to just, I mean, to be honest with you, we're just trying to give people what they would want. And there might be an obscure song, and that's just I'm not saying to satisfy us, but that's like, we played Charlie Brown in Insubordination a million times, and I never get tired of him too, by the way. I still love him, but the reason why we'll pull out, like, right now we're playing like the song Construction off of Feed Man. Kind of a deep cut
Yeah.
for that album. It's not the one we reached for, or there's a couple like that we've been playing, like Malas Palabras again is an encore song. We'll
Mhm.
play Misunderstood off Band Geek. When you hear those songs, like the weird middle song, that's us just satisfying us. Like anytime it was a weirdo song, that's like, oh shit, guarantee you that's my brother George or I going, fuck, I want to play some other shit, you know. So
Mhm.
so we're doing that more and more. Like right now, there's songs like on deck that we just do at sound check that'll be in a set like any minute now. That's how we're doing it right now. We're like rotating, and then eventually there'll be like eventually we're gonna even dip in back into the last album that we did with Ephraim, because my brother Frank, most people don't know, but my brother Frank had demoed about half of that album, which I still have we have the tracks for still. So it'll be interesting to sing them live because my brother did the original recordings that we never released with him.
Oh,
Which
really? Of the Apocalypse?
oh yeah, he did at least half those demos. So
Oh,
eventually we're gonna re-release it all as a repackaged thing with my brother's demos and a couple of the Ephraim songs remixed that we just want to mix better. But because now with like the digital world, we don't feel like this. You make the rules now. So like that album is going to come back to streaming with like some changes to the mix a little bit that we weren't quite happy with on the
okay.
Ephraim side, with not Ephraim's parts, but I mean just the mix.
Mhm. Is that why
Like
it's not
this,
on Spotify?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
all going to come back.
yeah,
We're just
sorry.
kind of repackaging it soon
Yeah,
enough,
cool,
and
cool.
it's going to come back on a different distribution platform because that's an issue too. We just want
Mm,
it to be on a different platform because people would forget that like money is scarce for that shit, and like we got to find the best distributor, you know.
mhm.
So we're gonna, since we own that record, that's coming back as a revamp thing with the demos that my brother did, which is about 5 of those songs, as well as the Ephraim stuff, which some of it's still there, like the single's still there, but we don't like the way the mix was on the Living the Apocalypse single. Like
Mhm.
most people don't know, but like somehow the mix got approved, and it's our fault, I guess. But we approved the mix because we were kind of hasty, and like it's missing like the main guitar hook isn't really there,
Oh,
and it sounds so much better with a louder guitar hook on the mix that I did, like originally, like the rough mix, so to speak. So there's things that have nothing to do with like Ephraim or whatever. It's just uh we feel like, hey, digital isn't the same as vinyl. Like
Mhm.
we could fucking re-release it in a year or 6 months and go, hey, the album still exists. Don't panic. It's just we wanted to fix some shit. No
yeah,
one's gonna no one's
that's
gonna
cool.
fault no one's gonna fault you for trying to make your record better, whoever was in the band, right? So that's
Mhm.
gonna happen. And I think at that time, we're basically gonna give it a facelift and play those bulk of those songs live with my brother, probably even the Karen song because we wrote that stuff too. So,
Oh,
so you know, it's not like his voice is going to sound bad with it. You know, like a
right.
lot of that stuff was meant for him. You know, uh, no disrespect to Ephraim did an amazing job for the time being for being a guy from a million other bands. You know, he stepped up. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
he's that guy. You know, he's spreads himself thin and has like 3 4 bands. You know what I mean? So we're gonna just revisit it, like I said, and give people like kind of like the OG demos, so they deserve to hear them. I think, like as a fan, wouldn't you want to hear what my brother did on them? Like I would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
yeah, I
basically
would.
the same. It's basically the same thing, the same lyrics, but those songs are originally written with we demoed them with Frank. So we're gonna put those out and then put out the repackaged rest of those songs. And then we'll eventually play those songs live again, like I said, with my brother. So you'll get to hear at least those bulk of songs that we were playing live before with Ephraim, you're gonna hear them again. Like we're
Oh,
not
oh,
like
really?
we wrote those songs, man. It's the same process, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for Supernova then, huh?
Yeah, that'll be that'll be classic songs for now. But yeah, we're gonna play those songs. They are gonna come back live here and there, you know. So
Yeah.
we feel like we could do whatever we want, man. To be honest with you, you know.
Yeah.
And speaking of Supernova, a week from this Friday, you guys are headlining
Yeah,
a
the Friday.
Supernova Fest. Now, you guys were there 2 years ago with Ephraim singing.
Yeah,
It's going to be a little bit of a different vibe with your brother back in the mix. what bands are you most excited to see this year? I know a lot of them have not been able to come by or come over internationally, but which bands are you most excited to see this
Well,
year?
I'm always happy to see Bucko and Iron because we have a connection, and they're like some
Yeah.
of our oldest
Ah,
friends in the scene.
yep.
Like some, oh, rad, yeah, yeah. I didn't even notice, man, because you like lower that. Like me, you
Yeah,
can't really see
yeah.
what shirt it is. I
It's
have a
all right.
Reverend Horton. I have a Reverend Horton Heat shirt on. But
Nice.
that being
Nice.
said, those are just like old friends. And Dan, the trombone player, was in our band for a minute, for a couple of years too. So it's like he was a member of Voodoo Glow Skulls. We traveled all over the world with Dan. So those guys, because they're old friends, so it's like that's a big deal. You know, like you forget and you don't realize until it really gets in your head, like, hey, I've known these fucking people for over 30 years. Like we've done so much together, just the same scene and played tours together and had like crazy moments. And some of the people we've had interchangeable band members now. So
Mm.
those guys are like one of the main ones I'm stoked to see. You know what I mean? Slow Gherkin, I haven't heard that name in so long.
Yeah.
Like that was around way back in the day, and then we've had this crazy long like career. So it's cool to hear bands that get to come back and do their thing, which is
Yes.
rad. So
Mhm.
I'm happy for them. You know what I
We
mean?
got them on next week.
Oh, okay, rad.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. That's cool. That's
We
yeah.
used
So
to
just to hear,
a
just
band I managed used to play with them a lot.
oh really?
Back in the 90s, yeah. So
Which band?
the Hippos?
Oh yeah, 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 man. We played with Vampire Weekend and
Yeah,
hung
I
out with
know.
Ariel,
I
right?
know.
Yeah, they're responsible for getting us on that
Yeah.
show from those old scene days count, man. Like you would never know that the Vampire Weekend dudes and the Hippos guy had Voodoo Glow Skulls in common somehow.
Yeah.
Like, and I saw the Hippos like at the UCR barn
Yeah.
with
I
with
for
my
Stiff Dog Night.
yeah with my superhero, which Mike
Oh,
I know Mike well, and that's wild that we didn't really know each other, but we were in the same scene in like 93, 95, 94, like the barn days. And we ended up hanging out with,
with the
with,
circus thing that you guys
yeah,
did.
well, we end up hanging out with Ariel at the Hollywood Bowl,
Yeah.
talking about the Hippos and ska punk and all like a year ago. It's just wild shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's all ska punk scene related though. We got on the Hollywood Bowl show because of the connection those guys had about ska punk from the 90s.
Wow.
We end up getting offered a show and talking about ska punk with him behind the Hollywood Bowl and shit.
Yeah.
Wild shit. And that's thankful to that kind of music. That's
Yeah.
why that happened.
Yeah. It's good that the old scene's coming back, a lot of
Yeah.
old bands that are
Oh
still
Mhm.
yeah, and it's cool
still
that the
represent.
certain bands pop up, like you mentioned the Blue Meanies, like they'll still play like an occasional Riot Fest or like play like at the Metro and do a couple nights. That's amazing, it's part of the deal. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's nostalgia stuff for us because those are like our how we cut our teeth, man. We play, like I said, we played hall shows with those bands. Some of those bands were the first bands we met in their
Mhm.
state. Like, you know, wild that the first person we met pretty much in the Bay Area scene was like Tim Armstrong, like on Telegraph when he was delivering pizza.
Yeah.
Like like after Up Ivy broke up and before he formed Rancid, like that's like, and then the first people like from Chicago were like the Blue Meanies. So
Yeah.
the first people from like San Francisco area were Skink and Pickle. So we have these connections, with these places and these OG bands, and it's
Don't
cool when
forget
they pop
Slapstick.
up. You know,
Can't forget Slapstick from Chicago too.
yeah. Well, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Alkaline Trio, dude, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Derek, Suicide Machines.
Yep.
Um, there 2 years ago, I actually flew out to go see that Blue Meanies reunion in Chicago.
Oh, sick. That's
That
cool, man.
they did the whole Kiss Your Ass Goodbye and Pave the World.
Yeah, man. Billy's a good front man. I think we had some cool moments with them back in the day. Not a whole lot of them, but certain moments, like I said, and right when those albums were coming out, it was
Yeah.
like when those songs were happening then, or getting written then, or they're first playing them live then. So I'm glad I got to experience certain moments where certain shows blew me away as a younger person, where you're trying to figure out your style, or you already got your band, but you see a cool band that's kind of doing what you do, but their own take on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool shit.
Yeah, totally. Like when I went out there, I saw Chuck had a what is it called? The American Scothic
Yep.
reunion show, and the Eclectics played, and Coolidge played Johnny Sacco songs.
Oh yeah, it's wild. See, that's another band. We played with Johnny Sacco like a little bit. We played with the Twist Offs. There's so many, the Mud
Yeah,
Sharks. There's so
yeah.
many gone, but not necessarily forgotten bands from the era.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Rudiments, or Los Rudiments, what they were first called. Uh,
I had yeah I released a CD in a compilation in '95. Actually, I was talking to Jerry about having you guys on that CD, but it didn't happen. And I had the Rudiments play two shows. They played one for me up in Berkeley Square, and then one at Las
nice.
Palmas Theater in Hollywood.
Yeah, see, that's cool shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did like tours with those early bands, or like did weekends of shows with like them and Skink and Pickle, or
yeah.
like I'm talking like 92, 93, 94, when our
Out of order.
first records were like coming out. Yep. Out of Order too, man. Like they were around. They were around. We did some early stuff with them,
Yeah,
some really memorable shows. Same thing with really all those bands.
yeah.
Mhm. Now, can we touch back on why there was a singer change? Can you explain why
Yeah.
Frank stepped
Well,
down and then sat
I
back
mean, it's
in?
just a bunch, mostly family stuff.
Hmm.
You're around your brothers for so long, and people are just in different places in their life, and I think even a different state. You know,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
at that point, what I would really contribute to is my brother had been really moved out of California for a good 20 years at that point, at least.
Uh,
Wasn't really like coming here close to here that as close to us anymore, and kind of had his own stuff going on with his former marriage. Like he
mm,
had a long time marriage that was ending, and there's a lot of stuff I'm not at liberty to say, of course, but he
mm,
had personal stuff kind of happening a lot
oh,
during his last 10 years of the band, let's say, 5 years, where some people's lives are just different, where their home life's different, or what's going on with them,
mm,
and there's drinking going on, and that doesn't help, and you know what I mean. And so he had some personal stuff. We had our own lives over here.
Mhm.
We always taking care of business over here. My brother George and I, who are still in California, have our own lives too, man. Our own families or houses. You know what I mean?
mm,
George has a kid, and a wife and all that stuff. And I have my own home, and of course, and my own like studio business and stuff like that. And so we just always have we grew up doing our own things after a while, and we just probably didn't realize that we've been doing it together for so long. Something has to come to a head at some point. And there was some incidents here and there, never that wild, but towards the end of him being in the band, there was a couple things,
oh,
mostly alcohol based stuff. When people
uh,
drink too much, they get emotional. And
mhm,
that lifestyle, as you get older, has to change pretty much. Let's just put it that way. We were all always like never that hardcore, to be fair, never hardcore drug addicts or nothing wild, but there was some boozing going on, man. We got used to those drink tickets and free alcohol, and that's the life after a while. After a while, your life is your favorite drink. Like
Mhm.
your
yeah,
favorite drink before you play, the favorite drink after you play, people buying you drinks. So it's a thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the 90s Voodoo Glow Skulls was a drinking band.
mm,
Like songs like Drunk Tank,
Mhm.
Empty Bottles.
Yeah.
mhm,
There's a reason. Like we were like anyone else, you're young, you get caught up with it in it. Some of the guys that were in the band, the horn players, not all of them, but one of the horn players had to go to rehab for drug stuff that we didn't know about after he was out of the band. So people had their thing. And
mm,
with our brother's case, there was just some brother fights, some moments on tour where it's like affected other band members that are just innocent bystanders that you're just kind of like hiring to be in your band. I hate to be so blunt, but it's like we're friends with everybody in our band. Don't get me wrong, or at least try to be, like most normal people. But after a while, people, you're like bringing people on the road that trust you to get along, so their lives aren't upended, right? So there was a couple times where some of these dudes like lives and that were in our band got kind of upended because of a brother fight, or they had to witness things where you shouldn't hear or see, and like mostly because of booze and because of emotions and not talking things out because you're family, right? So that's what I would contribute. You know, like that's what I would attribute all that back then. You know, things had to change. There was some business stuff that wasn't really that straight. You know what I mean? We were kind of in debt, to be fair. Like we were kind of in debt with like people not really not knowing how to run the band right. You know, and we fixed all of it.
Good,
you know,
good.
He stepped away and quit. You know, kind of not. I'm not going to say unexpected because he's kind of saw it coming. There was some moments, some personal things that were said and done throughout a couple of road trips that were like, oh, something's gonna happen soon. And then he quit. You know, kind of drunk and kind of pissed off on a weekend where we were doing some shows, and we weren't necessarily shocked, but we were like, oh, okay, shit. Okay, this is new, but you know, things have to change. Things come to a head with anything, I think, after a while. Nothing will last forever, as they say. It's true.
Right.
So it was time for a change, apparently, you know. And it was like I said, it wasn't all kosher, man. There was some stuff, you know, we were perpetually in debt. When you run a band, certain people put their credit on the line, let's put it that way, and their money on the line. That guy being me at that point of the band. So it's like I'll say I was kind of in debt, you know, because of bad choices that weren't necessarily made by me. So we just fixed it, man. He decided to quit because he had some stuff going on in his life, and he had to basically go take care of whatever was going on at home.
Right.
Which is all that's for him to tell you if he wants to, you know, pretty much. But I'll leave it at that. He had some home life stuff going on. You know what I mean? When we were, like I said, while doing that, while like partying and then dealing with other people's lives on the road, there's going to be some shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what basically caused that. And then we were going to make an announcement. The way it went down, we were going to make an announcement in like a week or two. We were going to let the smoke clear. We were going to make an announcement that I was already kind of crafting in my head, and I was getting ready to type out for social media, of course. And right at that moment, like that month after that shit went down, Ephraim emailed me, who I knew him, but I didn't know him. I just knew him of him and then met him. But we weren't friends necessarily or anything like that. We were kind of acquaintances. We hadn't played with Death by Stereo so much, you know, a couple times. And we definitely knew who he was. And we knew, you know, I knew he was a newer guy, like a Manic Hispanic, of course. And he emailed and just said, hey, I saw what's going on, or I'm sorry, or whatever he said. And he's like, if you guys consider moving on, I want to try out. You know, so he reached out. We were, like I said, we were going to make an announcement because we were like, that's our brother. Like, even like saying you're going to get a different person to sing in today's culture, like it would be worse now, 7 years later, than even it was 7 years then. And 7 years ago, the people were talking shit online and commenting. And imagine now, you know what I mean? It's like the world just gets crazier and crazier with it, and people pipe in, and you have to hear from the housewife in Ohio who never heard the band but has an opinion. It's just the way the world is now, you know? Right. So, and that shit will drive you crazy, you know, if you pay attention. So, we thought about it, and we're like, we had commitments, to be fair, coming up, and we're like, what do we have to lose? You know what I mean? We thought about it. We're like, what do we have to lose? And we invited him to come try out.
Okay.
He came and tried out and did like some songs. And with Ephraim, as anybody knows that knows him or knows his style, it's like what he didn't necessarily have in the voice, because there's no replacing a voice that's like you can't replace anybody's voice really. But like what he didn't have in the exact voice, of course, he had in like energy and attitude, which is like, we'll take that all day over, because you're not going to find a accurate voice.
No,
You're going to
no.
search. You're going to search for the rest of your life trying to find like the right. I mean, and as it turns out, I could do it. Like I sound pretty close to him, and so does George. But we weren't thinking then. Back then, we wanted a front man, you know. So Ephraim tried out and kicked ass. Like we had exactly those thoughts that I'm telling you, like right now. Like what he didn't have in the voice exactly. We initially looked at each other and we're like, bro, he has the energy. He has the look. Like it's cool, different look. It's like opposite of a tall, bald Mexican guy is a long haired Mexican guy. Like, and
Yeah.
it's like the opposite is of the headbanging Mexican guy. Perfect. Different.
Like
Like
he's pretty crazy too. On that Supernova, he went up that scalping or the top.
Yeah, which is
thing.
great.
It's crazy.
Which is like that's exactly like he may have not been singing the song perfect when he was doing that, but it was part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and his voice, I'm not saying like it was good enough because Ephraim has a great voice in his own right, and on our record too is great vocals on there. But he wasn't the dude, of course. So what are we supposed to do? You got to show up there with a straight face and be proud and hold your head up high and go, this is a dude that's representing the band now. Take it or fucking leave it. You know what I mean? So that's what we had to do. And we weren't forced to do it. Of course, we could have just stopped. We were about to make an announcement, but I'm so glad that we didn't still. And I'm grateful for those years. Of course, like I always love those guys or that guy, all those guys that were involved. We've had the horn players come and go, and those guys were important too. Don't get them wrong or be wrong. But Ephraim, I'll always be grateful for that. Like that time, I'm sure he has to be grateful too. Death by Stereo decided to not be active or whatever was going on with them. And that's his baby. Those are his brothers, man. And they have a long career too. It's a whole different path than ours in a way, and a whole different style of music in some ways, of course. And gotta hand it to him for a dude that came out of like this like kind of sort of melodic hardcore band, did his own thing with our music, you know what I mean? And like it was great. He did a great job, and those crazy moments. We had memorable, wild moments and tours and shows and stuff that I'll remember forever, like that are great. Like we had some milestones with him. You know what I mean? So you can't take that away. And why would you want to? You know what I mean? So he did his thing, and then it was just time for it to change. You know what I mean? Like we put out the one album. We were kind of writing new songs, but nothing was really sticking. We hadn't really written that much with him yet. He like demoed some vocals on the new stuff, but I felt like nothing was really sticking in it. We weren't necessarily coming out with the best ideas on the later, newer stuff that we attempted with him. And then Death by Stereo really started to do stuff. You know what I mean? Started to want to be active again and all that stuff. And we were like, we're always like, let's just keep going forward. Like you'll know when we're gonna stop, but we really like didn't want to slow down. And right then it was like meant to be. My brother just heard that he wasn't going to do it anymore and was going to do Death by Stereo, and do some tours that Ephraim couldn't do with us. And instantly, my brother it was organic. He just asked us. He was just like, if you guys want me to come back, I'm ready to come back. He's like, I basically need to be around my family more than ever. Was the exact words.
Right.
And people come back from a lot of stuff, divorce and mental health stuff and drinking is like you don't fuck with that stuff. Like it's kind of frivolous and people talk their shit and blah blah blah, but it's like people go through stuff you don't ever know. We really never know what people are going through. You know what I mean? So we're just grateful he wanted to do it because we grew up doing that stuff and it's really what we do and it's our identity. You know what I mean? Like once you decide to be a lifer or do it for a certain amount of time and you're healthy enough to do it, thankfully, you're just, it's what we do. And it's a big part of his, he stripped away in a lot of ways his own identity himself. Like I didn't do that, and George didn't do that, or no band member. It's all that was all him, you know. So I'm really grateful that he gets to have that identity back for whatever that means to people. For him, you know, because that's what he kind of belongs doing, at least for the time being. I think, you know, we've been having a good time. There's been no issues, thankfully. Everyone's a little older, a little wiser, I think, for sure. And you just have to be grateful, man. Like the past is the past. It's like like stuff happens, and you could dwell and cry and moan and complain about you said this to me and you posted that and you said this, but it's like, dude, it's all like has to be water under the bridge after a while. You got to just keep breathing and rolling and going forward. Ignore the noise too, because it's like there's no point in it. Like, like I'm grateful for the people that want to see the band still, you know, because take it for what it is. It is partially a nostalgia trip too. Like, I'll take it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's what I created. Like, I created this in my bedroom, still creating songs on this couch now. You know what I mean? Like, we're that. That's what we are. We're Voodoo Glow Skulls for better or for worse. Like, till I die, pretty much. So, you know, I've always been we're the creative force behind this thing. You know what I mean? My two brothers and I. So I'm always thinking about Voodoo Glow Skull songs still, and everything. Like, image wise, my brother George is always working on stuff for the show. He's that guy. He always wants to make it look cool. And same with me. We're always trying to be visual, trying to give people what we can from the childhood bands that we grew up on. We try to like make it good for anybody who's paying that 25, 30, 40 bucks or whatever tickets are now, 60 bucks. We're trying to make it worthwhile for you to see a show that's not just a punk show. It's a little bit more, you know, you're going to see a little bit extra, a little here and there, whatever we can give with the budget we have that our audience allows us to give them, because that's all it is. It all comes back to how many people you draw, how big the band is how much we can afford to give a show. Right. So we try not to skimp out, man. We try not to just show up with amps, and you know, we try to be a little bit extra cool. You know, we try to give people as many songs from the catalog that you grew up on, or the ones that they might be discovering now. And right now, the way I see it, this 5 to 10 years of Voodoo Glow Skulls could be coming up on the best again, or the good moment, if we could just be happy and hold it together, which we seem to be doing fine. It's never been, like I said, a crazy issue holding a band together, even in like the low points. You know, never been that crazy. Like even with the drinking and even with the wild times, it was mostly good shit the whole time. Wasn't like a turbulent relationship with my brothers the whole time or none of that shit. We're mostly have gotten along, because you wouldn't be able to be able to do a band for 31 years with him and then another 7 years with you guys. You know what I mean? It's like some of it has to work. You know,
right.
It's not like we're that dysfunctional or anything totally fucked up. It's just life. People go through their stuff, and then we realize, 31 years was enough for three brothers to play together for that long and tight spaces and go through marriages or kids and jobs and side work and assholes and drugs, drinking. So we're lucky we had 31 years. Yeah. And now we're lucky we've even had another year now with my brother. Right. I'll take that. You know, and the shows seem to be getting better. I mean, be getting better. Like right now, in my opinion, guaranteed, it's the tightest the band has been almost like ever been. Those are moments I know people hold on to from the early days. I caught this show in 96 or 90, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure. But accomplished musician wise, and like being wiser about your own music, and as performers even, and as like players, and even the guys that we get to be in our band now, we're a lot more picky now. And we're a lot more like astute with like sharper with like, oh, this needs to sound like this. Where back then we were kind of letting stuff be loose, you know? So if anything, you're getting a better Voodoo Glow Skulls with the dudes in their 50s that are like focused. You know, we still get down a little bit, we still party a little bit and still do our things, but we're way more focused now, man. Like, so this next 5-10 years, however long we get to live and get to do Voodoo Glow Skulls until we can't like walk or stand, will be the best years, I think, musically, because we're not trying to be, we're on more on point we've ever been with the show. you know, with how we could afford like budget wise and make the show look cool, like with the visuals. And we're always thinking about more, trying to do more. So you'll get a better Voodoo Glow Skulls now for sure, in my opinion. If you catch us at a festival or club date or Punk in the Park or Supernova, in my opinion, we're working the hardest we've ever worked. We rehearsed the most we've rehearsed since back in the day now, with some local guys now, you know. So I think it's the best version of the band right around now again. Like we have a really good version of the band, you know, and for whatever, take that for what it's worth, man. You know,
Yeah,
that's for the real fans and the people that care about obviously
right.
seeing the show, you know.
So
Well,
there, real quick
now
before
that
your
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
before your next question, I just want to say like yeah, like old school shows. Like I have a little war wound. I felt so much on that one show on Angels up here in the high desert, and I messed up my elbow. But anyway,
Yeah, man. And see that. Yeah, I mean, there's always been wild stuff like that. I have a friend who had changing, a friend that had like a life changing like thing happen to with her leg, but it was outside of a voodoo show,
oh,
which
oh,
made me kind of bummed out for a long time. Like you know, like where it's like I needed major surgery and like my life was not the same again. Like that's crazy stuff to hear about.
Yeah.
wow, yeah.
So now that Frank's back in the band, is he still doing River City Rebels out in Arizona?
He's doing the Hardyville Stranglers.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, yeah,
Hardyville Strangers.
that's his side band. Yeah, oh yeah, he's still doing that. He's still doing his band with his friends, you know, which is like we all have side bands. We
Yeah.
all have had multiple side bands. I think after a while, it's just inevitable. Like stars align with other people, man, and you want to do your own little thing and away from the same. We've been so creative as the unit of Voodoo Glow Skulls. It's like you have to have outlets. I think most
Mm-hmm.
people do. Like it just that's why that happens, you know. Uh, so yeah, he has that. We have Emily and the Blackouts, which is like a female fronted kind of rock and roll punk band
That's
that
Jerry's band too, right?
I do. I formed that with Jerry and
Hmm.
with Emily, our friend, and then now my brother George is the bass player now.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's the three original Voodoo Glow Skulls guys, the three
Yeah.
rhythm section with a female singer, just because she's a local friend that ended up being a good singer and a cool. This is fun to have like a crazy punk rock chick singing for a band, and
Mhm.
we wouldn't do it if we didn't have fun or if we didn't like the way she sounded. And those are my songs. Those are basically that's like the Voodoo Glow Skulls influences that aren't meant for Voodoo Glow Skulls. Basically, it's like
Yeah.
the other side of things, like the
Mm.
rock and roll, glam rock, metal. We do a little bit more of like rock and roll, punk rock with that band, and it's totally fun. And so yeah, we have our other things going on still.
Cool.
Cool. Um, now you guys did something early with Ezot from Solomon from the showcase, right? Didn't he release something early for you guys?
He actually did a compilation. I'm
Was
trying to
it?
think of what the comp is called now. Shit.
Oh,
I think it was called like the Factor X. He had a little label, or he had a magazine called Factor X. It was like a monthly, you know, like the like band. You remember those big like monthly like papers that would come out like Mean
Like
Street Magazine,
Scratch
yeah.
magazine.
Scratch, and
Scratch
like Mean
magazine,
Street.
yeah. Mean
Well,
Street, yeah.
he had a thing called Factor X for a while that was kind of in direct response or competition to Mean Street,
Yeah.
Oh,
which I remember them being totally in competition with them. Like same look, like those big, like kind of
Yeah.
big newspapers, right? That fold open and you have a bunch of.
Uh-huh.
So they did Factor X at the time, and he put out a Factor X Records compilation, and we were on that. It was called the Melting Pot, and we had a early version of Closet Monster, which I didn't like that version of the song. It was like not the original demo version, which I loved, and it wasn't the version that was on Feed Me. Like it was a middle version, which is kind of wild that that song's been recorded 3 times. But it was a version of Closet Monster I didn't really like. I think that was on that comp. But yeah, he put out a compilation, and we were just had the one song.
Okay, yeah. But you guys are also, first of all, you had a Who Is This Is on Doctor Strange. You
Yep.
had 4 albums with Epitaph. You were on Smell This. Um, was it just that you guys just wanted to change things up with the record labels, or
Well,
you just did your contracts?
we were on Epitaph, and then the contract was pretty much up, and they didn't re-sign us. It was like you're pretty much your deal was done, pretty much, you know.
Mhm.
Um, So when the Epitaph contract ended, it was about the right time. 2000, Symbolic came out, which is our last Epitaph album, which to me is one of the better ones. Sounds like sonically, especially. Um, that was produced by Brett from Bad Religion and from Epitaph Records.
Mhm.
And then that was like really when it was on a downswing at that point. Like we weren't doing quite as good. Still were doing pretty good and drawing people, but that was like when the crossover of like emo, hardcore, and like skinny jeans and afros and all that stuff was coming into play, like 2000, 2001. So like our felt like our ska punk shit was starting to be like a little dated, I think, and like we weren't selling as many records. Uh, Even though we thought it was one of our best sounding albums and had some great songs, the Symbolic album, we did the Epitaph Punkorama tour, and that was like our last big hurrah on Epitaph Records. Like it was, we promoted that album and toured with Agnostic Front and all, and like played some kind of big shows still, like big rooms. They still play like the Glass House and like the Palace in Hollywood or something. And that was the end of that. And then Victory Records just wanted to sign us. Like we were off of Epitaph. And 2001, 2002, Victory Records was kind of becoming a hot thing. With all those said, the kind of emo hardcore bands like Thursday, all the names of the week bands, Thursday and Taking Back Sunday. You know when that became a thing, like everyone had a band for a different day, right? Well, we Saves the Day. We had like the main day like label that was signing all the day bands
Yeah.
wanted to sign us one day. Kind of funny. So in those days, the record label that's signing all the day bands signed us, and we were like kind of an odd man out. Like I remember we signed to Victory, but like one of the marketing guys like blatantly didn't like the band. It was like,
Oh, really?
like we were on a label where like Tony, the owner of Victory, totally like wanted to sign us and was all gung ho and like even did like the "I'm gonna take you to lunch" type of thing, like that record labels do. And he seemed like a genuine dude, and his label was hot. He had like Hatebreed was blowing up, you know. Like I said, Taking Back Sunday, Thursday, probably Saves the Day. All those bands were blowing up, and we were signed. And he had Streetlight Manifesto, who was kind of like a new thing that was bubbling under. So it was like kind of perfect for us because we went from Epitaph, who was sort of old hat now in 2000. They were starting to be like not so popular anymore, and we went on to the premier emo hardcore label, you know. And they didn't have the Epitaph resources so much, but they kind of did. Like they were able to promote us even when we were putting out records that people didn't seem to care about as much as the 90s. We still had to be that band and still were writing ska punk albums through the storm of like. That's why Steady As She Goes is called Steady As She Goes, but it's totally called that because it's like riding the storm of like music business, punk rock music business, where like people kind of hate on you for having a horn section still. Even if you notice some of the ska punk bands were like our peers were either disappearing or their styles were changing.
Yeah.
They're becoming more like emo with horns or dropping the horn section.
Stretch.
Yeah, there was some stuff that was going on. We just kept our horn section. Like we had the two guys at that point, and we're just trying to keep it real. Trying to keep it, trying to be the same Voodoo Glow Skulls with new ideas. And there was some fun. I mean, the Voodoo anthem. There was some good idea or some fun songs that came out of that era. That we still played those songs from the Victory albums here and there. A couple of, and I like some of those albums. But like I said, that's that era. That's the era where I know we weren't as hot. It wasn't a new style of music anymore. There was all this emo hardcore and like I said, styles. Like everyone was wearing skinny jeans and had afros and shit. Like it was just weird. People were starting to grow beards and grow hipster mustaches and shit, bro. It was like, just a different styles,
Yeah.
So we had to ride that storm and play our ska, and on top of that, not to be like racial, but it's like add Latino to the whole thing. Like the whole time we're Mexican ska punk on top of that. So take that for what it's worth, because the world hasn't always been totally kind and not racist. You know what I mean? The world's always been a little bit fucked up, even when people think you're a white boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm one of those dudes. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's full blooded Mexican, bro. So it's like there's always something. Like
Mhm.
not unsaid, but there's something there. You know, like you might not get all the opportunities everybody gets unspoken because you're singing El Cucuy, and you don't really, and you don't realize that, and I don't go around thinking that, but like after a while, when you get older and wiser, you like realize, hey, you know, we've been championing like Latino stuff on top of that the whole time, you know.
Mhm.
So there's that, you know.
This is
Mhm.
Scratch Magazine 1998.
See, that's sick, dude. That all kinds of stuff pops up like that, you know, and that's Epitaph Records like marketing, you know.
Well, that's not the only one. You also had on the inside cover is the same.
Yeah, see, so they were trying to sell records,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm grateful for those times. You know, I mean that was the golden era, man, of like record label. That was a good time to be signed to a record label like Epitaph. Like
Yeah.
I'll never experience that again. I know it's not good to say never, but like the way the world is with music and streaming, and safe to say we'll never go through that again. And it was like that was still the days of a record label in the '90s throwing money at a band and advertising and getting your songs played on the radio a little bit, and like everything helps, man. That counts, you know, and you know it'll
I
make
had a flyer somewhere around here. I think it was you guys, Sublime, Pickle, and Boss Tones or something. I don't remember at the Palace in Hollywood.
there was a few we did memorable ones. We did one with Sublime, Voodoo, and Skankin' Pickle, and Skankin'
Yeah.
Pickle was the headliner. I think we were support, and I think Sublime played before us, but that was we were all used to be on the same booking agency back then called the Tahoe
With
agency, right?
Rick Bondi.
Yep, and it was the check out this roster. I mean, for a minute, his roster was Skankin' Pickle, Sublime, Voodoo, Less Than Jake, Blink before the 182, and like Mud Sharks and all these ska bands underneath that. So it was like they had
I thought Stormy was booking Less Than Jake at that time.
not yet.
Not
She
yet?
had,
Oh, okay.
the first band was the Tahoe agency for a minute, or their first one, and then that was because of Mike Park and Skankin' Pickle, who was instrumental in getting us our first booking. You know, he was the first one to talk Rick Bondi up, and I mean credit to him. You know, for helping people out,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, kind of early on, he was pretty genuine and didn't have to get us on their agency or didn't have to whatever happened then. You know,
Mhm. Nice.
Good.
Okay, so the album of Firme was released first in English and then Spanish.
Yep.
Why was that?
We just wanted to do it.
Okay.
It was just an idea. Like we had songs in Spanish on Who Is This Is, of course, you know, the first album,
Uh-huh.
and naturally carried it over to the Feed Me album, and then it was just an idea we had. Like my brothers and I think we were just literally sitting around and we're like, let's do the Spanish version of the album. It just
That was
came up
cool.
as the way we're talking now. We were just thought, well, we already have songs in Spanish. Let's convert the English lyrics into Spanish and translate them. And we just brought it up to Brett Gurwitz. I remember the meeting clearly. It was like, can we do the album in Spanish? And
This
it
one
was
has
like
the both.
it was awesome. It was like a light bulb moment. You know, it was like he was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it!" And they got all excited because they wanted to figure out how to market it to Mexicans in Mexico, you know,
Uh,
and Latin America. That was a
mm,
challenge to a record label from LA, from here. You know, they were gung ho about trying to figure out distribution and how to figure out a way to get it legitly distributed in Mexico, which I think they ended up using BMG Latino early on, I think,
Hmm.
but it was tough for them to do, man. Like an independent punk rock label that was big time, getting bigger because of Offspring, but they still weren't a major. You know, it's still rough, still a little hard. You know.
Mm-hmm. Now,
mm.
you guys have, I believe, an upcoming Riverside Art and Music Festival coming up. Is that right?
Yep, we got asked.
Something that you guys give back to the community that you guys are from?
Yeah, we got asked by the city, pretty much that simple. We were just asked by the city if we were interested in being the headliner on the at White Park. They have well, they always have the art walk on I believe Thursdays or Wednesdays, depending on the year. It's usually Thursdays, I think, but they have the art walk during the spring, the summer, I think, when the weather's good. They'll have the art walk downtown, and then now they decided to do like an art walk event like they did last year, but they do that event on a Saturday, and it's more of a blown out event. It's like still representing the same art walk in the city. They just make it like a bigger city, like a bigger city event. And they open up this park that's downtown, and they excuse me, and then they have multiple stages, and they have like local bands and arts and crafts and vendors, food, beer garden. So it's a city event, man. It's cool. And they just asked us to do it. And what better way to play your hometown than to like not have to sell people tickets, not have to play in some little club, which is fine, but like it's like thank you. Thank you for letting us give back and not have to try to do it ourselves or sell tickets in some, like I said, some club or some place. It's like a free event. So it's a win-win. The production will be good. So at least hopefully the show sounds good and looks good, It's put on by the city.
And that's September 27th.
Yep, Saturday, September 27th. I believe from 2 to 9 p.m. We're on last, probably around 7:30, the last hour and a half of the night. It's in White Park, which is off of Market Street, right in downtown Riverside, right in the center of it all. Sort of near the Mission Inn and all that stuff. And yeah, we're excited. It's like, thank you, City Riverside, for thinking about us, because that you don't expect to get asked, especially with our, we're a little rough around the edges, so to speak. So we're not like the local reggae band or something, or the cumbia band or whatever. So, we're gonna do our thing. We're not gonna offend anybody. We're gonna play our set, and I can't fucking wait, man.
Nice.
Awesome.
I'm glad it's a free show. Like I said, free to. It's just giving back too. It's like, you don't have to spend money on tickets, and we're gonna play the same hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. Amazing.
Cool. So the song "Fat Randy" is it based on a real person? Did he really shit on someone's couch or something?
That was always it's like folklore. It's like Riverside folklore. It's
okay.
All within our little circle of friends, though. Basically, Randy was this guy that we went to high school with. That was high school acquaintance, just a dude that was always around. It wasn't like a bad guy or anything necessarily. And later on in like the late high school, kind of college days, he would get drunk and get out of control.
Oh,
Like he's like this big Polish guy. And he would get out of control and like those little things that like high school like at high school parties. And one day, the story is he was at our original trumpet player Joe's house, his little apartment in downtown Riverside, and kicked him out of like a get together because there's one of those guys that stayed too long, like in his house, like the last man standing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, according to Joe, he came back, he kicked him out of the house, like walked him out or kicked him out, and then like Joe went to sleep and woke up and there was shit on his couch.
wow.
And I never saw it. It was the day before cell phone. It was the times before cell phones, but that ended up being a song because Joe like was all like, I think Randy snuck back into my house and took a shit in my house on the couch because I don't know who the fuck would do that. That babe was basically the story.
Wow.
And so, you being like young 23, 24-year-old dudes writing funny songs, we're like, let's write a song about Fat Randy shitting on his couch.
Yeah.
That's exactly what.
So
it's just like folklore. It's just like a funny, like urban legend.
Urban legend. Okay. So we'll never know who should.
I think it's great. I think it's great. Perfect theme for a ska punk song like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Like it's just funny, and it's like a real story. So it's not contrived. It's not made up or anything. So it's just a thing that may or may not have happened, but it did happen. Like it was like, I think this dude did this. So take it for what it is. I don't know if he did.
Right, right.
Now I was coordinating with your brother George about this interview past couple months, and he was telling me you guys have been in the studio lately.
Yeah, we're always in the studio, sort of. Since I have one at my house, like I built it up to where I could record other bands and my band. Um, we're always kind of in the studio. Like there's always a demo being worked on. There's always drum tracks being recorded with our current drummer. So I have a lot. I have about 20 songs that are pretty much sound like done Voodoo Glow Skull songs, mostly without the horns, but that always comes. But like basically the skeletons of songs, like a song the way you'd picture it, pretty much.
Mm.
I have a lot of demos like recorded with a lot with the real drummer on them already, which is a progress. A lot with drum machines and just like the whole band on them. So there's a lot to go through right now, but yeah, we're always kind of working on songs. When we're gonna release something, I don't know, because we're just kind of waiting. Like we could easily get motivated in 1 month, 2 weeks, and go, oh, let's finish this, mix it, start the marketing going, put it out, get artwork, which
Mhm.
doesn't really take that long these days. You could do it like in a month. You can get ready at least in a month. Within a month, you can kind of have all your sources tied up, But we're just really not in a hurry, man. I was just starting to figure out that the way the world is with all the streaming and our whole catalog out there,
Mhm.
and that the fact that my brother's recently back in the band, we're using that excuse to just basically, like I said, dig in the catalog and play what you'd want to hear from Voodoo Glow Skulls.
Mhm.
But we're well aware that we're always creative and always have these new song ideas. So I think no matter what, there's going to be new Voodoo Glow Skulls of some kind. Like there's going to be, most likely, I picture us doing like what a lot of bands are doing, is just doing singles for a while.
Mhm.
We just don't really feel like we have maybe the right one or two singles right now, but we just don't feel like putting anything out. To be honest with you, like
Yeah.
we are going to do it, and we just want it to be real good. That's the other thing. Like
Mhm.
we think a lot. I think a lot of the songs are good we have right now and live up, and even have a whole album's worth. But when you've been doing it for so long and it's in your head like that, like you just don't want to release any old bullshit.
Mhm.
Like I don't want to release any bullshit ass Voodoo Glow Skull song that's not doesn't live up to our stuff, And we're just working hard on we're working hard on not working hard, if that makes sense. We're working hard on making it be quality.
Yeah.
So that's what we're being super relaxed about.
Okay.
Like like I actually just have a new demo. I just wrote, just recorded most of the parts, sent it to our drummer. And this was like last week, by the way. And his response was, "Oh fuck, that sounds like the beginning of an album, like the first title track."
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's a good response from the guy who's going to be recording those drums. So
Right.
so there's definitely quality is there. Is my whole point. Like not that we blow smoke up each other's ass and go every song is perfect, because they're not. But we're writing those kind of songs, I think, where it's like, oh shit, that's a contender. That could be like a good new version, a good new, because we're always shooting. I'm always shooting for the fucking. I'm always swinging for the fences, man. So it's like I'm trying to write another Insubordination or another Shoot the Moon,
Mhm.
or have a song that has the energy of Charlie Brown. We're always thinking like that. I am, because I know what we had. I know what a Voodoo Glow Skulls album or song is supposed to sound like. Um, and sometimes you think and then you have some idea where it's like, oh, that's wild. That's like different sound for the band. So we definitely have those moments right now. Like
Mhm.
those songs are like in the air. Like I have a bunch of demos. Definitely an album's worth for sure. For sure we have some good singles that could for sure be stand on their own, and like we could make a video for, and blah blah blah. We're just kind of waiting for the right time, and then eventually, I think when we kind of exhaust touring a little bit with my brother again, and kind of exhaust playing some festivals to where we feel like, okay, everybody saw us play classic songs again for a couple years, then we're gonna just go, okay, just when you least expect it, there's gonna be a new something.
Yeah.
Whether it be song per song, or it'll just be an EP or a full album. I can't tell you what it's gonna be yet, but there's already been talk and people getting anxious, going, "Hey, let's release that song." So it's gonna happen. It's
Cool.
gonna be a while. Give it some time for us to play a couple more shows, get it out there that my brother's playing with us again, and to be honest with you, just get used to playing with each other again because we're still getting used to it.
And is
Nice.
it self-released or is it you still under contract with a label?
We're not under contract with anybody.
Okay.
We'll probably, I could see us doing a deal like we've been doing, like do a vinyl deal with like Doctor Strange Records or something to keep it real because we had fun putting out our last album with him.
Uh-huh.
It's like going back to Who Is This Is. It's exactly the same. So it's like, why not put it out with a guy who put out Who Is This Is? It's the same type of deals these days.
Yeah.
You get a deal with a vinyl, with like a vinyl record deal with a little label. They handle putting it out and the costs. We get our cut. They promote it as much as they can. We promote it as much as we can. We own the streaming. We own all the digital rights, and we own the rights to our songwriting,
Yeah.
which is great. And I mean, we're open to being on a record label, but then again, we don't know who would even be interested in our type of music. So, we could for sure put it out with like DIY people, So that's what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? Keep the streaming because it's not to be weird, but it's not, the money isn't the same and like it should be. Like I'm a proponent. I thought I'm one of those people that think Lars was right from fucking Metallica back then and was like, hey, we wrote those songs. That's like that's our shit. You know what I mean? I agree. Your music gets out there now if you're a young band and find the songs for free, but it's like they took away like a big part of people's income and like I'm not saying the motivation, but it's like you're a lot more motivated to do your art when people are paying for your art.
Yeah.
And that's just being real. I don't give a fuck. People could call you a sellout. I don't give a fuck. We come from the era where we were getting called sellouts for signing the Epitaph by Gilman Street punk rockers. So I don't.
Oh, come on.
I could give a fuck now. Like in my older age, so to speak, I just could care less about all that cancel culture, punk rock ethics. Everyone has their own ethics. Everyone has their own line they'll draw with selling out or making money and blah blah blah. And I just think people should get paid for their hard work. That's what I think. There should be some kind of deal, in my opinion, with Spotify for paying bands their just due instead of some billionaire getting rich. In my opinion, because that's the blood. That's our life's blood. Anybody from Taylor Swift down to Voodoo, down to even lower. It's not a detractor from still writing our shit. Like I'm still telling you, like I'm writing ska punk songs right now that I'm just excited about is Feedman. Like still excited about demos, the same style of music still, which is good. But, it's different now. Like the whole thing has changed. They made it to where it's like, oh, it's not as valuable anymore. Like art, all of a sudden they made it to where like, oh, this art isn't quite as valuable anymore. You can just get it, So I'm grateful though for vinyl and people that still have their little record labels and still people try and people that are doing cassettes and 7 inches still. I'm grateful for those people still because we probably took them for granted when CDs came in and by then digital, came in. So it's a crazy world,
Now, the album, Who Is This Is, the artwork, the new artwork has a mask over the main guy.
Yeah.
Well, why is the reason to that?
Was it
because of Dragon Ball Z said cease and desist?
Dragon Ball Z took forever to catch on.
Oh my god!
So it took them like almost 30 years or 25 years. We finally got a cease and desist from Dragon Ball Z and got asked to change the artwork.
Okay.
So we just it's now there's been 3 different versions of the Who Is This Is album cover. There's been the original version with what's his name, like Gundam, whatever.
Krillin?
That's his name. Yeah. So there's been the Krillin one, and then there's been the first wrestling mask that was designed by somebody, and now the current wrestling mask. So that makes it kind of fun. Now the latest pressing has I think what's going to be the final cover. Is the latest album cover. We just were like, well, what are you going to do? Put a mask on them.
Yeah, that's cool. So that's cool. Yeah. Easy fix though, right?
Yeah, it's an easy fix. We didn't have to we didn't get sued, thank God. You
Yeah.
just gotta
Thank God.
we're like a small band, like something like that could take you out. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like
they
we're
could have taken you out a
Yeah,
long time
that's
ago. Long
yeah.
time.
that's what
Yeah.
happened to janitors, and
Yeah.
when I opened.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. We're a small operation, so it's like, thank you for not making us pay you money or some weird shit. You know, which that's a big corporation, I'm sure. You know,
And
Yeah.
that's what happened to Mike Park with Misfits of Ska too, that you guys were on.
yeah,
He did the Universal Monsters. Universal sued him.
that's what I'm saying. Stuff
Yeah.
happens, man. So you got to be
Are you
careful.
talking
So
about this one?
yeah,
Oh,
No,
I can't see that.
that's
Oh.
the newer one.
Oh.
but yeah,
The original one has the Frankenstein and Bride of Bride of Frankenstein.
but I mean,
Oh.
I'm grateful we were able to. I thought we did some cool stuff that was like not. You know, we did some uncharted territory by using that Japanese animation at the right time for the right type of music. I remember being super excited holding the first Who Is This covers, going, God damn, this is our album cover. Like those
That's
times were like magical. That was
Mhm.
exciting times. So I'm grateful we got to live it. And there's the original. That's the original. You know the original art is right behind your head, right there. That's cool
Oh.
that it still exists somewhere. They can't take that away.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Now, also on that same album, you have a clip of from a movie, right? From Cheech and Chong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which we also, well, the Epitaph Records Shoot the Moon one got a cease and desist, but we didn't get one for Who Is This which
Oh.
I don't know if I should be talking about it right now, but I don't think it'll reach them. But Who Is This still exists with those. Oh, I think we recently took them off on our own though.
Okay. Yeah. It's not on Spotify. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, it's not there
Yeah.
anymore because Spotify, because when you do digital distribution, they instantly ask you if they're samples now, and
Oh.
they'll flag you. So it's like
Oh.
we would probably still try to get away with it, but it's because streaming won't allow it.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
they have like filters now that recognize like movie clips. It's pretty advanced now.
Oh wow.
So I think unless we like morph the samples and change the speed, which is stupid. Why do that? You know, so we just were like, you know what, the songs live up. You know, if you got the OG version on vinyl, good for you, you know. But Cheech and Chong actually sent a cease and desist letter to Epitaph for the Shoot the Moon one. Way after the fact though. Same thing. Like, dude, like 10 years ago. You know?
Wow. Like wow.
Yep. And you know, you just have to comply.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun while it lasted. I hope those people have like the good memory of that, you know?
Yeah. I love those little movie clips. That was like kind of like excitement, kind of like
Yeah, we thought that consider that an era now.
Yeah.
That was like that was between like punk rock bands using samples and like Puff Daddy was that window. And then it got greedy with like money, which makes sense. You can't use people's shit, you know, it's their property. I'm glad we kind of came out of that unscathed. And you can't deny that when people watch, a majority of people watch those movies and hear those parts in Cheech and Chong, they go Voodoo Glow Skulls.
Yep.
Which is in a way kind of genius marketing, you know.
It was. Now, okay. Now, I love also the song Insubordination, right? From the fast horn parts and lyrics. And I actually got an insubordination letter from this one place of work, so I felt kind of complete.
Awesome. Yeah, that all comes from Frank Voodoo. That's all him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that song
can you
is
tell
a
us the
direct...
story? What happened? Like, did he get?
Yeah. Those songs are just. If you notice, there's a couple of songs in those early days about bosses. In particular, Mr. Bossman on the first album. And then, you know, what's it called? The song that we're talking about.
Insubordination.
I just drew a blank. Yeah, exactly. So Insubordination was like, those are on the same album as a matter of fact. Duh. So that being said, there's two at least work songs that are about disgruntled worker songs on Who Is This? So that should tell you like the era that we were in, like young, early 20s, working shitty jobs. My brother came from, you know, shitty warehouse jobs at that time. So Mr. Bossman is about his boss when he worked at Radex in Ontario, California, which is like a plastics company or some, you know, whatever bullshit he was doing. And then Insubordination as well. And they come from the same, dealing with the same, like, not to sound like shitty white man boss, you know, like, sorry, but that's the truth. So So my brother dealt with a shitty same boss and wrote Boss Man and Insubordination about that particular boss
Wow.
at
Wow.
that particular warehouse. When my brother was like, whatever, 24, 25 years old, and we were writing those lyrics. And that was a direct response to working shitty jobs, you know.
Did he
I
ever
like what
find
he
out
says.
about that? The
I
boss?
like what he
Sorry.
says. Send me home early. You're giving me what I asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, oh
Send me
yeah.
over.
Those are great. I love my brother to death for those lyrics because hey, they hold up still, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone could relate to that shit. And
Yeah.
yeah, to answer your question, that boss after the album was out and we kind of became a thing where like you guys have the records, like when it was a thing, like
Yeah.
99 or something. We had already been a thing and had a video on 120 minutes on MTV, some minor success stuff, songs on K Rock. That boss popped up like 5 years after my brother worked there when we were kind of like a known thing.
At a show or what?
Like claim to fame, like came to one show like with his wife and was like, those songs are about me, and like it
He's
was
all
kind of
proud of
like
it.
he kind of like shook my brother's hand and was like, hey man, I hope it wasn't too hard on you. It was water to the bridge,
Yeah.
but the guy was proud and came to show.
That's awesome. He's all, I'm sorry I was an asshole, but I'm
Yeah.
glad some songs came out of it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool
oh
though.
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
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 Oh no, to his credit, that fueled the fire for like some of our most known songs. I don't see us ever playing a show without having Insubordination in the set.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah.
we pretty much can't
Mhm.
not play that song, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man, when you guys always open with that in the early days, fuck man.
Yeah, that was
Shoo.
I still get excited. Like
Amazing.
we just played it this weekend. It's still exciting. It's still just as exciting playing those certain moments in the set. That's one of them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many different continents have you guys played on? And I'm sorry, and what is your favorite place to play overseas and why?
Man, well, overseas, it's hard to pick, but overseas, I mean, Japan, I think. I mean, that's an easy answer.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of cool places, though, not to take away from Europe and everywhere else. But I would say Japan is like, to me, at least me, and I think most of the people that went there with us, there's just a magic to it. I don't know. It's so foreign in a way. It's Asia, obviously. It's its own little island. Culturally, it's just I'm not gonna say opposite, but America and even Europe, you'll see some different like attitudes are different and people respect each other differently. The food, it's endless, man. Japan is so rad. Like shows when the ska scene, when there's a scene there, when it's popping, like there's always moments where there's a lull and there's nothing going on for 5 years, 10 years. But some of the best experiences I've had touring, playing shows, having wild moments, wild nights, even have been in Japan.
Mm.
You just have to go there to know. It's so rad. Like I said, Japan feels like you're going to outer space. Like it's just the signs, the road signs, the language, the food, travel, the sights and the sounds. It's just different fucking place. It's not so familiar. Like we're all kind of Latin based in Europe and in America, and like Western culture based and Latin based, and it's all based on like Latin languages, and like Japan is just different. Like
Mhm.
you just like going into outer space. You know what I mean? Like with these freak show fucking alien people, they're so cool and so nice to each other and so respectful. And
I
like
think Tara from when Half Past Two was out there, she posted something about the fans there go and buy your T-shirt and put it on immediately, and
yeah,
they're like that.
there's little stuff like that. There's all kinds of stuff. Just everything, man. We've had some wild moments there. Great tours there. Like I said, the food is amazing every day. Something different. If you want to party there, it's wild partying there, wild drinking and cool bars and cool people, just girls. If you like women and girls, there's kind of rad chicks there too. There's everything, man.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a wild place. I love going there, and we were there about a little over a year ago with Hey Smith, and it was insane. Like some of the wildest shit I've ever seen at shows. Crazy, crazy shows. Yeah, that place. I guess Japan favorite. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Now, Eddie, I saw you've been working with a band called Los Chile Verdes in
Yep.
your recording studio. Yeah, so they're doing more stuff. Sorry. So your recording studio. Do you have other bands coming in and stuff like?
Oh yeah, I constantly have bands coming in. I've been learning how to do it for years, like trying to get better at it on my own, and I finally like decided to step up and do like a studio business sort of, because I never really full on went into try to be a producer or try to, and then I just decided that I got better at it and practiced a lot. Practiced mostly by recording Voodoo Glow Skull stuff
Uh,
and some friends' bands here and there, but not so much like a business. And then I wanted to get good at it, or at least better at it first, and really felt like I know. And now it feels like now I'm like my early 50s, like I feel like I'm more accomplished at it and like have something to offer.
mm.
So I just decided to start producing bands and like make it a full on thing.
So
More
so if a band wants to get it, do a recording, how would they get a hold of you?
That's the thing. Yeah, it's just through Instagram, really, or they could
Instagram,
email,
okay.
or they could email me, dogrunstudio at MSN. It's an old email account, or Eddie Voodoo at MSN.com, and
Okay.
or on my Instagram, which is Eddie underscore VGS. Yeah, I just now it's mostly word of mouth. You know, I don't really
Okay.
advertise necessarily. I figure advertising on Instagram by posting stuff is enough now.
Yeah.
I get a lot of scene bands, a lot of like ska punk bands from the scene, and like in LA and in Orange County, Riverside. Just word of mouth bands that want to work with me here and there that may have heard a recording, or a friends of a friend band might refer me to them. That's basically how I do it, you know. But
Cool.
oh, I love that stuff. That's really the other thing I do besides the band, and I care about it just as much, if not more, than the band. It's like really, I just try to get people the best quality recording I can from my place. You know what I mean? Most equipment these days, if you know what you're doing, you could get in a small space, or you could do like in a home studio. I have all the gear you need for like a professional album. You know, so I just do what my take on recordings are, my angle on it. It's not that much different than what everyone else does, of course. You know, but I have my own thing to offer, my own
Cool.
sound. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Some people have like a sound of your studio and like to work with you because of your either your personality or your skills or the quality of the recording. Sometimes is that's always different in certain places. But I've been trying to focus more on that. That's pretty much what I want to retire doing. You
All
know,
right. Okay.
is just keep on trying to protect my ears, of course, and work with bands that hit me up and want to work with me. You know what I mean? I don't push it too much, like I said, like a business, because I want to deal with stuff I like, or people that reach out to me. Because I figure if people reach out to me, then they want to work with me, or they heard about
Right.
something, or so that's the way I like to do it. I don't like to push my work on anybody necessarily, but I've been grateful to get kind of a lot of projects, man. And I'm always juggling at least 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 either album projects like I am right now, or like demos. So I'm always doing something as well as recording Voodoo stuff. So right now, like I have Los Chiles Verdes we're just about done mixing that album,
Okay.
which I didn't record all of it. I only recorded some of it. They brought me a recording from another studio that they had done a while back. And then they asked me to add to that recording and then record new songs to add to it. So I pretty much mixed almost that whole album. Like it's pretty much like I think 15 songs. Is long.
Oh,
It's
okay.
but it's really good. Great, great, great songs and cool band.
Cool.
And I'm so stoked that I get to like contribute basically to the scene I helped start in a way. You know, I'm stoked that I get to work with bands that like I hear the stuff that they bring to me or that I record, and I'm like, fuck yeah. It's like perfectly in line with the kind of music that I would be either recording or like stuff that I like that reminds me of all the young bands I grew up on or the bands that I came up with. Like I hear it in them.
Yeah, I
I'm
love
not saying every band sounds like Voodoo, or I'm saying that, oh, that's I hear us. It's not like that. I'm just saying it's cool to hear like oh shit, like this band's taking a little bit of like the best of this band and the best of this band, and now they're doing their own style. And I get to help bands. Hopefully capture their vision. Which is like, I remember being that guy in the band and still am, trying to capture our vision of what a record should sound like. And that's kind of a weird thing to convey to people, or a hard thing to capture sometimes, And so yeah, I love doing that shit. Like I live for that. So I'm doing a full album with them. It's pretty much almost done being mixed. I think they want to fix some saxophone parts. I think we record some saxophone solos or something. So it's almost done. And then, yeah, a bunch of bands. It's like endless, like Los Chiles Verdes, Major League Skankers,
Oh, I love them. Legendary Sankers, yes.
South Central Skankers.
South
So
Central.
both of those bands I just recorded new songs with that aren't released or just about to be released or we're working on still.
Excellent.
Gabriela Penca, another cool cumbia, ska punk, Latin American band from Orange County. So a lot of bands, man. There's more than that I'm not thinking of, but I'm kind of always juggling that. Like a couple projects are either getting started or we're finishing or we're in the middle of.
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
I've noticed more experienced musicians like yourself that's been in it for decades, is kind of grooming the new generation, like Roger from Less Than Jake's doing producing Joker's Republic, the last couple albums from
Yeah,
them.
I just think we all love that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's great because you guys put your touch on it. You're showing them how to do it and teaching the next generation, which is amazing. I commend you for doing that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
it's just what else would you? I mean, to me, it's like what else is better? But like I said, I'm a lifer with this stuff. I started this band, never really try to change the band style so much. I mean, we try to keep it real to what the true sound was and is, and still get excited about that sound of music, And it's like, and you got to put your ego aside if you're a fan and just be a fan and be like, yeah, I love recording bands and having their vision. It has nothing to do with mine. Even if they're a ska band or punk band or something else, it's like it's cool to leave my shit out on this wayside and just create a vision for somebody else's music and like do what they want to do. And then I'll put my own little flavor or my own little thoughts, of course. And that's why they're hiring you for, of course, is your input. But I love the fact that it has nothing to fucking do with me. Like creatively so much. It has, I mean, people could ask me and I will produce and like help write music a little bit, but not so much, man. I'm stoked that I just get to I'm more like trying to capture it. Like it's a good ego check for me to like work on somebody's music, and it's even a ska punk band, which is very close to what I do, obviously. And like it has nothing to do with me or my idea or my lyric or my guitar riff. It's like somebody else's shit.
But it might also help you out with your thing. Some little thing that you made. Oh, I didn't think about approaching it that way too.
Oh yeah, and also yeah, it keeps you grounded. Like I love to know what's going on with the scene. Like I've already been there, done that, man. Like and then around the world in like so many days. Like I've done it so much now that it's not like it's just like, oh, let somebody else have their fun. Let somebody else put out their record that they're excited about. It's cool to be a part for that.
Yeah.
It's exciting to be a part of some band's excitement about their new songs, and like to be a part of that or make it anybody happy with the recording is incredible,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get better at that,
Yeah. Now I love the compilation that you're on, Puro Español. It introduced me to a lot more of the Latin ska bands like Los Carnales. Did you find it being on comps helped you get your name out there?
Oh, dude, the main ones that we'll never hear the end of are the Punkorama compilations. The Epitaph ones that came out back in the day. Those that were like $3 or $4 you used to be able to buy. Those compilations are like a big part of the reason why we can go anywhere in the world and someone will still know our shit.
Oh.
It's because of the Epitaph Punkorama compilations. Like, you don't realize how big they are, especially back then, until like it comes full circle. And still to this day, pretty much every tour, dude, almost every show, if you talk to enough fans of the band, it's a given. There's always hey, I first heard Delinquent Song on Punk Rama or Ed Kukui or whatever song we put on those comps. And we had like 3 or 4. And those were a big deal because I honestly think at the time when CDs were still a thing and those CDs were $2 or $3 right by the cash register, they used to always have a box of them.
Mm.
I think those things must have went like gold or something.
Yeah.
Because dude, I go all over the world and dude, I always hear those compilations the most. And like the one you mentioned, like the Poodle.
Escañol?
Yeah, that one, or like the Cinema Beer Goggles or Cinema Beer Nuts. All those other random smaller comps, those are a close second. Like I'll hear about those, like the way you just mentioned it, and I'll go, oh yeah, I forgot we were on that weird Tazy Phillips Scott Parade compilation and this and that. But obviously the bigger distributed ones, like the Epitaph ones, were like a giant deal. Like more than people give them credit for from the 90s. Like I said, to this day, somebody will say they'll know us even more than our album. They'll know like Los Hombres from the Hellcat compilation. You know,
given the boot ones.
That one, like that is a big one. And the 2 Punkaramas or the 3 or 4 we were on, that's a given. So yeah, comps are a big deal back then.
Nice, yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to have been in a '90s band to where people know what the fuck we're talking about. Like, I'm glad that I had that moment because kids now are like, compilation? What?
Yeah.
But if you're between like, you know, maybe 35, 30 years old to 60 years old right now, if you're in that 30-year gap, you'll know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, you should see my collection about all kinds of punk and ska stuff.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I appreciate that. We started that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Hell
yeah.
Now, this guy right here, who is this guy? I know you can't see the green that much.
Yeah,
but...
no, okay. That is that was just created by a guy that sent us some sketches one day, and that was based off of Rat Fink, like
Rat
the whole
Fink,
like the Rat Fink Rat Rod guy,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just like a bastardization of his monster, but like a cholo, like SoCal, like low, like it's basically be like a cholo version, like a Southern California version. Like take the best elements of the hot rod guy, mix it with the lowrider culture with a lowrider bike.
Yeah, the lowrider bike. Yeah, it's awesome.
Add the house shoes, like, you know, add the chanclas. You can
The
find like
chanclas,
you know. So add like the chain wallet and the shorts. So, and you basically got like a Voodoo Glow Skulls kind of fan, you know, sort of, you know. And what better way to like basically throwing like Latin culture, Mexican culture right in your face. Like here, look at the house shoes, look at the chain wallet, look at the lowrider bike. You know, the only thing that's different is he's a green monster, but that might as well be a brown monster, you know, because guess what? You know. So in a way, it's like an alien thing. It's sort of like a play on like the alien thing, illegal alien thing. Not so much, but like Green Monster wearing like lowrider Southern California clothes. That was like the perfect mix, like the perfect idea.
Monster.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, I went to your show in Marietta. You have a figurine also. Do you create those little figurines?
Those
yourself?
Those are created by my brother George, the bass player.
George.
Him and his buddy started doing these resin figures and experimenting with these figures during COVID. Like when everyone was locked down, we had a friend that had a resin printer or a 3D printer.
3D printer.
And then we bought a couple printers. The art, like the band, pretty much. Bought our own. Once we figured out how to make stuff, there was a learning curve, of course, and then he got it down to science now. And we just always we basically want to do a toy company, you know. That's basically the beginnings of it now. Is what you see is trying to expand. And one day, like we've reached out to other bands that do their figures, the certain bands that have mascots, because we've always been about more of a show. Like we always like if we had the money of like My Chemical Romance or Green Day, our show would be better than theirs if we had that budget. Because it's Voodoo Glow Skulls, man. Like we have imagery. We want it to be like Iron Maiden, you know. Like we grew up on that stuff, like theatrics and cool shows. And it's like you could be punk rock and do that. I don't care what people say about like, don't you want just a good show? You know,
Yeah.
so like the songs are there already. We just want it to be a good show. Like Kiss and Slipknot and Motley Crue, all these bands we grew up on have rad shows. And punk rock, not so much. Like it's cool. They have crazy singers doing backflips and HR, cool punk rock. And we love that stuff. That's what we're influenced by too. But who says we're not allowed to take like the best elements of punk rock shows, the energy, and then take the best elements of like theatrical heavy metal shows we love and rock and roll and Alice Cooper and blood and guts and like monsters and just give people a little bit of that or a lot of it, so we've always wanted to do that too and have an image like that and have the show just be cool, for everybody.
Does he have a name?
I was gonna say, does he have a name? Yeah.
No, it just ended up being the Voodoo Man.
Just Voodoo Man? Okay.
That's basically that's what we kind of settled on. There was never there was never
at the shows.
What's that?
At the shows, you guys have different people put on the.
Yeah, that's just usually a different roadie or stage manager. It's always somebody that works for the band for the time being.
Someone volunteer.
We've been lucky enough. Yeah, we've been lucky enough to get people to volunteer for a couple years to do it. Yeah, that's all that is, man. It's all just us having fun, copying our favorite shit, which is like Iron Maiden. Yeah. Like we grew up on those theatrics, like I told you, and like we always wanted to do that. It's never been like we'll make no bones about it. Well, it isn't its mystery. We've just always wanted the Voodoo Glow Skulls to be a cool show, like regardless of politics or what you think about this or think about that, like whatever. We want it to be a good show. So like that's the wrestling mask thing, all that stuff. The monster, the imagery of the album. Yeah, exactly. The album covers, the way they look. We just always wanted to stand out and be a cool thing and not just be boring and not be like you can't have cool lighting or cool smoke or cool monster come out. Like we just always thought, do what we want. Like with the show that goes along with the band, like the image of the band,
Yeah,
cool.
Now, who are each of your current favorite ska and/or punk bands?
Right now, well, let's see. Let me think about that for a minute. There's so many cool things that I like about what's going on now and old stuff. Shoot, right now there's so many good bands. I mean, ska-ish type bands or ska punk bands. To be honest with you, the best one I've seen or live show wise I've seen I think has been Hey Smith from Japan live, but that's like touring with them in America a little bit and Japan and Australia with them. Japan with that band is like the craziest things that shit I've almost ever seen, and that's pretty good coming from a ska punk band. Like I've seen everybody, Metallica to Slayer to traditional ska, hip cat, you name it, right? Everybody under the sun. Kiss, Motley Crue, whatever. Megadeth, Dead Kennedys, Descendants, everybody. Hey Smith from Japan in their home country in front of Japanese kids is some of the wildest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement coming from a 54-year-old dude that's seen a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll stand by that statement. Like, it was so good and exciting to see a band with that much energy with an audience that cared about them that much. Like, it was like seeing like Green Day in front of teenagers like crying, and it was wild.
Oh, wow.
Wild shit. Like craziest slam pits, crazy crowd surfing, everything you want to see in a show, like from an audience when you're just, when you go see a show and the audience is just as wild as the band. It's kind of exciting, unless you just don't get punk rock or don't get that kind of shit. But when you see a crazy pit or crazy things going on, it's like just as wild as the band. That's how those shows are. And I've seen a lot, like I told you, and that was some of the wildest shit I've ever seen. Is them with a bunch of hype with like a #1 album. Like, I mean, #1, like on Apple Music. Like, that's like the whole world. Like, they were above like Bruce Springsteen in Japan or some shit, which makes sense in a way, but that's a worldwide huge artist, like #1 artist everywhere in the world, right? they had a #1 album over him when we were there, and it was like insane. And we played like places like I don't know how big were they. They were like between the Glass House and like the Wiltern, like 1,000 to 2,000 seat rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But it was insane. Like the crowd was wild. The band was amazing. That's probably some of the best ska punk I've seen in a long time. Like I said, live in front of their crowd, and they're a great band, and the energy's there, and they're on a good ride right now. They're at the right age. They have the right albums out. So that's for sure the best ska punk band I've seen myself with my own eyes lately. You know,
Nice.
Which is good because there's bands that are kicking fucking ass. You know, I love that. You know what I mean? I would say them for sure for ska punk. I like Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra. Ska, like traditional ska, like you can't really fuck with that shit. Like they're like the best. They're the best.
Well, for trad sky, I think Ska Flames is more trad than
yeah,
Tokyo Sky.
yeah. Well, I mean, whatever you call it, just more trad styles, whatever. I really prefer Tokyo because of the movie theme soundtrack vibe to them. The what's his name? The Henry Mancini kind of vibe of their like their movie. They do like the theme that would fucking enter like the fucking Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
Like
there's like a Godzilla one, like
yeah, they're just a hit, they're just a cool hit band. Like I love that band. Like I had wild moments with them too when like they weren't a thing in America yet, when no one knew what they were. They came to see Voodoo play. Like it was, I'll never forget all like 11 or 10 members of Tokyo come into our show in like 2000 or 99, 2000. Their manager was trying to get them, like, I think to play in America, and they kind of hadn't played here so much. And they all came to see Voodoo Glow Skulls in 2000. We played with All in Kamudi and All in Midtown. It's like a weird big show though in Tokyo. And all of Tokyo came with their manager and brought us all gift bags.
No, that's
nice.
With like their magazine, and it was called Just the Records. They had like a record label at the time, and they had like this little vinyl special record that was inside of the gift bag, and we had this little vinyl record with many songs on it, dude. It was insane.
Wow, like a single song.
It was a single, but it was on a little piece of vinyl that was this big.
Wow,
that was almost as big as the thing you put on like for 45s, like the little plastic thing.
The little plastic, yeah.
But it was vinyl album.
Wow.
And I still have that. But so all of Tokyo came and we're in our backstage room. And I was like, whoa, like I was a huge fan way early because we were a ska punk band in the 90s. So before anybody knew who Tokyo was, we knew who Tokyo was like in 95, 94. So we're like, these guys came to see us play, you know? And I remember not feeling we played good that night and thinking, God, they saw us play like kind of a shitty show. But I mean, a big pack show, but I remember feeling like we didn't play that good. And they were all there. And so they're probably my favorite ska band, pretty much of all time. My favorite ska bands or ska type bands of all time are basically Fishbone, Tokyo, two-tone stuff, the specials and like the Selector, that stuff.
Yep.
Operation Ivy.
Of course.
That's pretty much it for me. I like all the scene bands around it. Bands that came up with, obviously, Pickle, Blue Meanies, whatever. But my stuff that I was influenced by or like really like gravitated to was like what I said, like Fishbone, Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra. There's a reasons why Voodoo Glow Skulls sounds the way they do. And those bands help mold it. Like the reason why Voodoo does ska punk at all or ska is really because of the specials, the Selector, Fishbone. And a little bit later on when we were already established, like after Feedme, let's say, it would be like Tokyo. There's a reason why we like Los Hombres No Lloran, Casablanca, those songs. Those are because of Tokyo Ska Paradise Orchestra. That's us
Okay.
kind of trying. That's us trying to sound like them, but our style,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
straight up, like trying to sound like that, but like heavy.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
You know what I
So
love? I'm sorry. I have mad respect because for you, because how you go and support other bands that come and tour. Because we saw you, I think it was a couple months ago. You went to go see Brunt of It
oh
Yeah, that's my
yes.
friend. That's my friend's
over in
band.
LA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
that's my good buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, Bluefish. He was from Hoodlin Empire too,
Yep, I was
from
around
back in
those.
the day.
I was around those guys back then.
Yeah. So it's awesome that you come and support, the other local bands or
Hmm.
touring bands and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, that's my friend. Yeah, of course. I mean, I try to go when I can. No one wants to go in some room and be the weirdo that you don't know anybody there, so I don't go to everything. I'll go to see stuff all the time, man. If I'm a friend, I mean, we just saw Less Than Jake in the Suicide Machines.
Mhm.
We came up with all those people. Those
Yep.
are our peers, man. Those are all in my eyes those are legends in their own right, in their own genre, our genre.
Right.
So those guys are the reason why we could all do this too. Why Voodoo could exist and coexist is because we get to coexist with bands like Less Than Jake, Suicide Machines, and all the young bands count too that are new, trying to do the style that either influenced by you or those bands.
Mhm.
So yeah, naturally, I go whenever I can. If it's something I care about or just people I know. Uh, New bands too. That's a little harder to get out to sometimes because, like I said, sometimes you just don't want to be the 50-year-old dude in the room around younger people, and that's just a fact. But
Yeah.
I pick my battles, man. I go to play. I sneak into places once in a while, see who I can, or when we're on a show with cool bands, I naturally try to catch somebody. You know, Sometimes your ears will perk up and go, "Oh, what's that?" You
Yeah.
know, that's some new young band doing some cool shit. That reminds me of whatever, or that is just a new thing. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because like I think you played with recently with Catbite too, right?
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, we played with them at Punk in the Park in Denver, I believe, and then I saw them on the Less Than Jake tour too, just very recently, this month.
Yes.
Yeah, another
Great
band
band.
yeah, I love the fact that there's female ska bands like keeping up the tradition is awesome to me.
Hmm.
And is a very big part of Voodoo Glow Skull's influences. Like we came up with Dancehall Crashers and were influenced by like the Selector
Hmm.
and the Body Snatchers and all kinds of ska from back then. There was a band called the Donkey Show back then
Uh-huh.
that had a female singer.
Kim
All
Cliff.
kind of Gangbusters from San Diego had a female singer, I believe, too, with them, a guy and a girl. So we were always that just goes hand in hand with ska. I think is female fronted ska, and I'm always all about it, especially if it's cooler than the average shit.
Right.
Traditional rock is great. When there's a good female singer, of course, and whatever. But it's always exciting when there's a ska punk. I just recently there was a fuck, I can't think of the name. We played with some ska punk bands that were in South America recently that were wild with female singers.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
heavy as fuck ska core with a female singer, like I mean heavy, like metal, but like ska punk metal or whatever, which is like not necessarily my favorite style, you know. Like I think some bands get away from ska too much now, where it's like good for you, but it's like just call it metal or whatever, It's like at a certain point that people get away. I'm still kind of like Voodoo also still try to keep their foot more in the punk rock ska thing, like we like traditionally, like
Mhm.
like we get a little bit metal too, but like we know how far to go.
Yeah.
Like I think, But I saw some wild shit where it's like, oh hell yeah, like female fronted gnarly ska core band with like blast beats and like tuned down guitars and like a girl going, which is like, oh okay, that's great. That's tapping into like what bands are doing now,
Mhm.
like more modern bands are going extreme with it. Um, so yeah, like Bite Me Bambi, another one we toured with a couple of times. Cool
Mhm.
people, I'm stoked. Just cool females doing cool shit. You know what I mean? Like there always should be. There's a lot of other ones too.
You guys
But
played with the Goodwin Club also.
But yeah, who were great at the Ska SmackDown thing. Yeah, they were cool. That's what I'm saying. I remember them from back in the day, like in the '90s. So we're well aware of all that stuff.
That's the band that I manage right now.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, the guitar player
Jesse.
was just Bite Me Bambi on the tour with us.
He was 2 different tours with.
Yeah, they were cool, man. They're I like that band. That's another band. That's so cool that there's a lot of females doing it. In my opinion, like I said, they always should.
Yep.
They always stand out and do cooler things, and fashion is cool. I love the way people just have their own style, like, and all these women have their own style, and like whatever band, name the band, whatever, any of those bands, it's cool, man. And it's like I'm glad there's new bands that are like getting love, that are coming up now and getting on cool shows and cool tours that are being recognized.
Yeah.
You know,
Daryl, tell me about your show, bro.
I have a show coming up in if you like the whole women thing, in October at the Sardine in San Pedro.
Yeah, that's your show. Yeah,
that's my show. Yeah,
I know about that show. That's rad, man.
The Rude
If
Girl
I'm around,
Riot.
yeah, I know Canadian band.
Amy Gabba.
Yeah, she's gonna be there. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm well. I've seen that flyer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah,
come on down. If you
been,
want to come on down, I'll get you in.
I'll let you know for sure. I would go for sure. I think I should be able to go. Is that like October?
October 18th. It's a Saturday.
Yeah. If I'm around and not in the studio, I would love to come out. I seen that flyer. That's great. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. It's amazing that there's people doing it, carrying the torch, and eventually, yeah, Say Ferris. Can't forget, her. She's doing her thing, man. That's amazing. All these bands are around, or they're older bands or newer bands that did what we did, or new bands that are brand new doing what they do,
right?
That get to do it, man, and change it up and have their take on it. It's
great. We got the Calamatics is gonna be headlining that one. They're another Hellcat band.
That's right. Yeah, our one of our trumpet players or trombone did some recordings with them, I think.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's great. Yeah, I know about them.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Spread the word.
Man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I got 2 more questions. Okay. Any pre-show rituals like warming up, like warm-ups, or a shot of tequila for the nerves?
There's always a little bit of something. I mean, as you get older, you just start to realize that you need to stretch, stretch and move your body and like get amped up for it. Rituals, nothing too out of the ordinary, man. Everybody has their own little things that they do. Some people smoke a little bit of weed and have their little vices. Some people will drink a beer or two to relax these days. That's about the craziest it gets, is like the stuff I mentioned, A dude or two will hit a little bit of weed, a dude or two will have their one little beer or two to relax. I think that's how people kind of manage their own thing. Everybody's different, man. Sometimes I'll meditate for 20 minutes before we play. Sometimes I won't at all. Sometimes I'll be caught up talking to too many people that I'll barely have time to stretch my body a little bit or think about what I'm going to do. And we're like, okay, we're going to run an intro and start. Rituals, nothing, man. It's all basic shit, dude. It's all getting anxiety is a ritual.
You still get it, huh? Till
all
this
the
day,
time.
Huh? Oh, wow.
I just played a show. Actually, the Solaris, the Murrieta one wasn't as bad.
Okay.
But that weekend was pretty hardcore for me. I had major anxiety that whole weekend, which I've been really no stranger to have once in a while. But I played the Garden Amp show that Friday on virtually like almost no sleep.
Oh.
Which happens to me once in a while. And it was brutal. Like I got through it, and it was a good time, and people I don't think could tell. But man, I just couldn't get sleep together the night before that show. And like it's just that'll happen to me once in a while. That's a shitty ritual.
Yeah, I know what the feeling. I sometimes can't sleep. Sometimes, yeah.
But that was kind of an interesting little fact. Sometimes people won't know what you're going through. You know what I mean? And but the Solaris one the next day, thankfully, I was so much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for signing. Also,
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I remember. I remember talking to you. Yeah. Thanks, man, for having that. I appreciate you going to the show, man. That does not get lost on us, man. Every show is a big deal. Like, we're super lucky, man. We get to do this still, and we've done it the whole time, really, without hardly really stopping. And most of the shows have been really good. Our whole, so to speak, career, we've always been lucky. Like, even on our worst moments, our shows have been pretty good. We've been lucky, man. For not being commercial or not really being, Sublime, commercial. Those bands are commercial bands. We're in the mix with all those '90s bands, but didn't really get the commercial love, or weren't really like an emo pop ska band. We weren't writing those hooky ska pop punk songs. We weren't that band. We were trying to write the heavy shit. So I'm grateful that people come out, and still recognize us because we obviously love doing it.
Now, what is your pet peeve and addiction? If you care to answer that.
Pet peeve and what?
And addiction.
Addiction?
It could be a good or bad addiction.
Okay. Pet peeve is a crazy one. I think pet peeve right now, pet peeve is just like social media negativity and comments and like people throwing their 2 cents in, which is like
gatekeeping and stuff.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
Keyboard warriors.
I'm grateful for freedom of speech, obviously, and I don't want to get all like political, but after a while, it's all full of shit. I think, like, I do miss the '90s when you didn't know people's really opinions so much, and you could just look at a person and go like, I don't know what you really think, and I'm kind of glad, like, what your little extra little quirk is about politics, or like, because you can't, hardly anyone's the same, and people don't realize that, and it's like people could drop these little bombs in social media comments, like that's just not the only pet peeve, but like I think that whole world is a pet peeve right now. Is like negativity, social. We all get caught up in it. I do here and there. I don't read comments because I learned my lesson. You'll hardly. I basically don't read them unless somebody sends me something. I don't read comments. I don't live it there because I learned my lesson a while back. But that bothers me. Just that the way the world is right now, with kind of everyone saying what they want unchecked to people, being disrespectful to each other, people thinking that they could tell like their favorite artist or their so-called favorite artist how they should live their lives or what they should do, or you shouldn't do that, but you should do that. And I think this and I think that. The world was just more peaceful and they kind of divided everybody. That's my biggest pet peeve right now, I think, with the current world, is I'm just kind of bothered by that. It affects everybody, I think, a little bit more ways than one. And it's annoying. I just wish it was kind of like the '90s. Like, sure, it wasn't that PC and people said some shit they shouldn't say, but it wasn't quite the way it is now. It's just different now. So I guess that would be it. Hopefully that's a good enough one, but that's a big pet peeve right now. What else? Addiction. Addiction. That's a wild one for me. I don't have necessarily bad addictions. I don't think. Let me think about this for a minute. Like I have weird things with like, how can I put it? It's not an addiction though. Like I'm kind of more obsessed of anything with like, I guess like studio work and like audio stuff, like in my studio. I'm like kind of addicted to that and obsessed with that in a way sometimes. Like I lose sleep over making stuff sound good and over you really accomplish that at that.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to knock it out of the park every time for any little band and anybody, and it's unrealistic sometimes. Like, but that's not necessarily an addiction, but that's like
addicted to your work, I guess.
Those thoughts, yeah, you could be addicted to work, I guess.
Yeah.
But like that, and like even like more obsessions with music and like our own style of music and getting that right song. I'm still kind of obsessed with like the perfect Voodoo Glow Skull song. Still obsessed with that, even though I'll honestly say, for if you like our band, and this is obviously just speaking for us and what I've done and we've done, I feel like we've almost done the perfect Voodoo Glow Skull song already, like Insubordination, let's say.
Mhm.
Some of those songs I think are like the perfect song that define the band. Like to me, it's like you want to know what the band is, listen to that. Maybe Shoot the Moon, El Cucuy. There's the obvious ones, and you're like, that's the Voodoo Glow Skulls. That defines the band, right? I'm still kind of addicted or obsessed with like writing songs like that. Like I'm always trying to write that one song again, but in its own thing, obviously. It's a new version, a new style of it, whatever. And I'm doing that now. Like I said, I wrote a couple songs recently that like, oh fuck yeah, like I'm back in that realm again. Like that could compete with that song. So that's kind of more of an obsession. Um, Addictions, I don't know. Like I smoke a lot of weed, man. Not all the time, not all the time, not all day, every day, but like I'm a pretty huge proponent of like marijuana, and like I think the right if it's right for people in certain circumstances, of course, I'm not like a total like shitty stoner that doesn't know what's going on. I don't think I appear that way now, you know. So,
Mhm.
but it definitely helps people for sure. It can hinder people too. Don't get me wrong, but that's been I've had to be like I've had to be honest with you. That's hard to get away from once in a while. I've had
Mhm.
my bouts with it where I've been like, dude, you're smoking too much right now. Like, you're smoking too much this month. Like, chill the fuck out, But it's not like out of control. Like, I need to go to rehab. I quit for months at a time. Blah blah blah. Um, but if I had to be honest about like a pretty like closest addiction is that for sure. Like,
Cool.
like I don't really mess with like white drugs. Like for anxiety or for depression, or I don't mess with that stuff. I know people need that stuff and meds and stuff like that, and it's good if meds help you. But like weed is kind of a med, I think, and it's like you could do it with that if it's right for you, not right for everybody, and blah blah blah. I'm not saying everyone should be a stoner and blah, but I think in moderation, let's say, or even not moderation, if it's good, you want to do it every day, whatever. But that's been the closest to an addiction I've had. I don't feel like I've been an alcoholic ever or even close. Never been a smoker ever, like a cigarette smoker, really ever.
Were you stoned right here when you took this picture? Because your eyes are closed.
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what was going on there, and that's just like I'm not exactly. It's one of those things when things come out and you're not exactly like proud of them.
Yeah.
Like you have no control of how things came out, and I don't know how even we approve those photos. Like and
I
now
know.
now is me now. Yeah, most of them are good, but my eyes are closed. Now, I think we just left it like leave it because we were happy to be on a big label, and I don't think I was really thinking of like terms of like image, and somebody's gonna see that for the rest of my life, right? But now I would say like, hey, dude, get one with my eyes open. But you know what was going on then is I was going through that time. It's ironic, and it makes sense the photo would be that way because I was going through crazy first time, never had like anxiety and like migraine headaches, and like I'd never been one of those people. When that was going on, I was going through some crazy mental stuff then, and I think my eyes are closed then because I was like kind of going through some things
Hmm.
around those times. We were like having like some of our most successful out like our biggest album about to come out, and we were on a big label, and there was kind of a lot of kind of sort of like pressure
Pressure. Yeah.
I put on
Too
myself.
much pressure.
Yeah, and I was young,
Yeah. Mhm.
so I had a lot of anxiety and stuff going on then, and I had like migraine headaches then, and I think honestly that's why that photo came out that way.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So for my last question, you kind of answered it a little bit. Picture the Ska History Hour viewers discovering Voodoo Glow Skulls for the first time. Which track should they queue up and why?
Insubordination. I would say that one for sure. I mean, because it definitely offers exactly what Voodoo Glow Skull, like the sound that I think finally, I think when that song was written and it came out, it was like the definitive Voodoo Glow Skull sound finally with the horns, like it was the ska punk, ska core, whatever you call it. It was like the definitive sound for I think the genre at the time, or for sure our band, if anything. Like, like how much more ska core or ska punk do you get? Like it has all the elements.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It has like a melodic voice, a minor key, a heavy hardcore breakdown, and then even and then it doubles down and does the other like almost like reggae ska breakdown.
Yeah.
If you notice it has like a heavy breakdown with the heavy part, like the hardcore breakdown, and then it has the reggae breakdown kind of at the end, and then it has an upbeat ska skanky fast main verse with a crazy circusy horn.
Mhm.
It's in the minor key, which is typical like Voodoo Glow Skulls, dark ska. That's it. I mean, everything in a nutshell. The lyrics are like anti-establishment boss lyrics. Perfect, you know. So I think that has everything in one, pretty much, you know.
Excellent.
Well,
Excellent
my
song.
go-to albums back then were the Boss Tones, More Noise and Other Disturbances. I'm sorry.
Who is this?
Who is this is?
Yeah,
Songs in the Key of Bree by Bucko Nine and what was it? The Blue Meanies one.
yeah,
With the Shitfuck Man. What was that one? I forgot.
yeah. I can't think of the name
Kiss
of
Your
it.
Ass Goodbye. That's right.
Kiss Your Ass Goodbye. This
Yeah.
is my favorite one.
Those were always on my CD player.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, see,
Oh, yeah.
that's and it's not like we didn't have those. Like we listened to our friends' bands on tour, like everyone did. Like you were listening to that stuff. We were at least listening to some of that stuff.
Mhm.
You know, we had our friends' bands on compilations, and we played the same CDs and cassettes. Everyone did, especially when you're younger and that scene is new. Yeah, like I said, I'm grateful for that. That's like the beginnings of what's going on now. Why you could have the Supernova Ska Fest and have whatever what's going on now, Bad Time Records, whatever is going on now, is all you can't deny that it doesn't come from Boss Tones, Devil's Night Out, More Noises, fucking Disturbances, Op Ivy, Energy, Voodoo, Glow Skulls, Wizards, and Feedman, Blue Meanies, Kanky Pickle,
Thumper, Slapstick, Less Than Jake. Yeah.
Less Than Jake, Losing Streak, all that stuff, is a reason why it exists. I mean, fucking Sectacore was doing their first albums in Mexico. There's a reason why there's a whole Latino scene in LA is basically, I think, Sectacore and partial Voodoo, and
I agree.
yeah, for the kids that we were too white for, because we were, supposedly some whitewashed Mexicans born in LA. Doesn't matter, still full-blooded Mexican, different thing than Sectacore. Same blood, full Mexican, doing it, born there, two different things, but the same thing in a way, same bloodline, so it's wild to think about what it turned into, and it's cool to see it these days. There's all these bands doing it now, and like million ska punk bands that are Latin doing it, and like I said, all the female bands doing it, and it's cool. Yeah, it's like coming full circle again, or
we just saw the Summer of Ska festival that came through here in LA.
With Hub City Stompers.
We just saw. Yeah.
Trinidad.
Yep.
We saw Hub City, but we also saw the Hellas from.
the Hellas, yes.
Yeah, they played.
Really
They played
really
our
good.
last Gilman show with Hey Smith.
Oh, okay. Nice.
About a year ago.
Okay.
I love the Hellas,
good band,
man.
real good band.
Yeah,
man. There's all kinds of new bands. That's what I'm saying. We played some of our first shows at Gilman with Green Day and Screeching Weasel,
Yeah,
Kanky Pickle, and here we are, 37 years later, and the Hellas are new ska punk band playing the opener, and we're there still. And Hey Smith is the big Japanese ska punk band playing the show with us. So it's like it's the same stuff that was going on back then in a way.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
same
Awesome.
stuff, different players here and there.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
loving what's happening right
Right,
now.
right.
I feel like it's a second wave for that I'm living through.
Yeah, there's been multiple waves now. That's another thing going on. Yeah, you just got to take it for what it is, man. Appreciate it. If
Mhm.
you care about it, you got to appreciate it and take it for what it is, because it's not always that way. It's not always thriving like that.
Yep.
Right.
Now, what does the future hold for Voodoo Glow Skulls? We talked briefly about new material coming out. What about show wise? Are we looking at another tour? You guys?
Yeah, we're just kind of taking on whatever we can and want right now. We're kind of like open to suggestion as far as shows go. We're taking everything that's interesting to us that makes sense for the level that the band is at right now. So there's going to be no shortage of shows if we can help it. You know, we're trying to play a lot, pretty much without oversaturating it. We're trying to play a lot and just basically make up for lost time with our brother and giving, like I said, giving people what they would want from the band as far as the catalog and the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just, like I said, keeping the classic songs, the core 10, 15 songs in the set. And then we're trying to add the other 5 or 10, be kind of more obscure songs that are still in the catalog that people can appreciate.
Yeah.
We want it to be like, oh, I never heard him play that song live. We're trying to do that a little bit more. It just takes time to get to every song.
Mhm.
But we are actively doing that right now. We're actively adding old songs to the set, like I said before. And then the future probably holds new music for sure. Like I said, it doesn't make sense. It's for sure there's going to be new music. It just, I don't know when. And we're constantly working on new songs, like I said. So I think the future holds new music at some point. Either like a full release or a single or two is a given. It's going to happen. And then right now we're just working on shows. We have more stuff coming up. We have a tour. Let me think. We're doing September. We have Supernova in 2 weeks. Free Riverside show the 27th of September, Saturday. That Sunday the 28th, we're playing Vegas at this thing called the Zombie Rumble. It's a car show with a show attached to it. That's with Reverend Horton Heat, Manic Hispanic,
Oh, nice.
Voodoo Glow Skulls, Co-Defendants, Messer Chups.
Oh, I like them.
Yeah. Bunch of local bands, Guilty by Association, a bunch of Vegas bands, the Dollheads. So it's going to be good. Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, there's a good side stage with 5 bands, 4 bands. And then the main stage is us, the Reverend, Manic, Co-Defendants, Messer Chups. That's a zombie rumble. September 28th in Vegas. And then October 4th, Punk in the Park in San Pedro with we're on the Bad Religion Day, which is awesome.
Oh, okay.
Bad Religion, Pennywise, Manic, Voodoo, long list. Punk in the Park, San Pedro, October 5th.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, October 5th. No, I'm sorry, that was the 4th. The 5th, the next day, we go to Mexico and play a festival. Outside of Mexico City, just a big ska festival with a bunch of bands from there. And then what else? November, we do a tour of the West Coast, but not Southern California, because we're doing Punk in the Park, so it's like it'll clash. So we're going out with Venomous Pinks and Authority Zero. And that's a 10-show tour.
They're
in
from
November.
Arizona, I think, right?
Yep, they're from Phoenix. That's a 10-show tour. That's mostly like, I think we're doing Phoenix, Vegas on that tour again. Like we're doing like Oregon, Seattle, going to Idaho, Reno. It's kind of like the West Coast, but not Southern California, but the West Side.
Are you guys going to take on a local band from each city?
Yeah, that's usually the case.
Yeah.
If there's not a 3-band, sometimes during the week it'll only be the 3 bands on the road. But then a lot of the time there'll be an opener, 4th band. And most of those nights there's an opener.
Definitely in Portland, or if you play up there, you got to have Eric and Los Malhablados.
They're on the show already.
Oh, hell yeah, of course.
They were on the last time we were in Portland too, I believe, or 2 times ago. Yeah, we know them. They did the whole tour before, a West Coast tour with us, with the
Oh,
Slackers.
oh yeah, okay.
About
Yeah,
2 years, about 2 years ago.
yeah. Yeah, we interviewed Eric and Mephistopheles and all that and hung
Rad.
out with them at the last show.
Oh, that's right. I love Mephistopheles. They're opening our coming up Portland show in November, around the 17th or 18th of November in Portland with Los Malhablados, Venomous Pinks, and Authority Zero.
Very nice.
Yep.
Huh. Sounds like a sick show.
Yeah, Portland's awesome.
Now, I know because I've looked at your website, but where can you find your music, both physical and digital?
Physical is just the usual suspects. I think you could order them either from your favorite like vinyl record store, like go to a record store still, like Doctor Strange. If you could find record stores like that, they exist still. The Rat Hole, I think in Riverside or somewhere around out here. There's a couple like stores that have vinyl still.
Toxic Toast in Long Beach, Steady Beat and
yeah,
San Pedro.
Yes, I'm sure
Fingerprints, Long Beach.
I'm sure you can get some of our stuff in most of those places. Yeah. But I've actually seen our vinyl come up like on Amazon. I hate to plug them, but the quick fix is always doing a search and it just comes up in those places. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's always there. Whenever Epitaph puts out like the vinyl that's back there, like the Spanish and English version of Feed Man.
Yeah.
That always is, I hate to say it, but it's always on Amazon, which is good or bad depending on if you support that, but it's there. And this on vinyl, it's on websites like that. It's a given. I've always seen it there lately. And then streaming, all the usual suspects, man. Apple Music, Spotify. Yeah. I mean, YouTube, obviously, you know, wherever you could stream stuff.
And your website, right?
Yeah, the website's just more informational now. It's just more like dates and like, that's mostly it. You know, merchandise link. There's a voodooglowskullsofficial.com and voodooglowskulls.bigcartel.com for merchandise. We always have new merch and updated stuff. We have the little the little figurines. We have a couple of different ones of those. T-shirts, some vinyl. I think even some CDs still. There's all kinds of. We try to update it as much as we can with new merch, you know.
And some of that out of print stuff, Discogs would be the place to go find.
That was my next thing is Discogs. You could always get stuff too. You know what I mean? I really should know more, but I don't really know all the places. So I could lose track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to have that 7-inch of Rasta Mi Huevos, and I can't find it anywhere. I don't know.
Oh, really?
It was on the yellow. It was on the red vinyl, I think.
I wonder how rare it's getting now. I remember being excited about that stuff coming out. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad it exists, man. I'm lucky. We're lucky we were able to live through all that and have those records come out and anyone give a shit about it. It's cool because all that stuff made it to where like, who is this could happen? And then Feedback could happen. And then all that stuff made us who we are, man. All those beginning little records are important, even though there was only like 500 made or 1,000 or whatever. Somehow it carried us to like bigger labels and bigger opportunities and having a fan base at all, you know?
Yeah. Well, Eddie, we really appreciate you stayed with us for a long time, and we really appreciate that.
It's all good, man. It's my pleasure to talk to you guys about any of this stuff, man. I'm glad.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you.
I'm grateful and glad people care enough to want to talk to us, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So thank you very much. We want you to hold on for just a moment. I'm going to ask you a question right after, but we thank you for everything. We will see you in a couple weeks. We've got our press passes, so we'll be bothering you backstage.
Okay, awesome, man. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Hold on real quick.
Hello, Skankers. Jose here, aka Skanking Force. Would you like to win a free Ska Box? It's as easy as following Ska Box Rocks and Sniff Dog Records on Instagram and Facebook. And subscribe to Ska History Hour on YouTube and comment Ska Box Rocks in any video to enter. Good luck!